entity and a waste of taxpayer money because it's one giant lie. And even on their Facebook page, all they do is put up like fake pictures of like the Earth from space and space pictures. Very good artistic drawings, but the only time you see like a clear quality pictures like of an animal or something that's actually on Earth that's not taken from space, then it's a very nice, clear, sharp image, that a photographer took, or somebody like that was close enough with their cell phone. But I'm just, are you like, do you believe in the flat Earth, or you believe in the Earth is round or ovalish?
I'm a flat earther through and through.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's any
Yeah,
measurable curvature. If you're privy to all this stuff, then you probably have heard the arguments before. But
yeah, yeah. No, I spoke to this other guy. Yeah, he was. You probably know him. He's on TikTok as well. I mean, we're friends. I mean, I don't believe in the flat Earth. Let me ask you one question. This is what I was telling these other guys. That lady who has that thing about is the Earth round? I think she's from Sweden or something like that. I was on that live stream once or twice, and I bring up this point. Now, human beings. Now, if you look at the size of that, like the round planet behind you, okay, the one thing that you notice, everybody can look at it. It's big. You have to picture in your mind the size of this planet compared to human beings. So just as the moon rockets, right? You look at the rocket as a human being, it's massive with the two fuel cells on the side, this giant rocket, this huge platform that delivers it to the launch. But once it starts taking off and at physically going up in space, it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And then once if it ever leaves the Earth's atmosphere, it's teeny weeny, itsy bitsy, like it's nothing. Okay, so a rocket like that would probably never ever make it to the moon. Is just common sense. So the same thing with human beings being so small that even if you thought that you could see the curvature of the earth, it's virtually impossible because human beings compared to the perspective of the size of the earth, the perspective, we're nothing. A human being, when you stand on earth, wherever you are right now, and you look up, you're nothing but a speck of dust compared to the size of the earth. I mean, we are so tiny. So even if you look out, your eyes are so teeny that even like you think you can see far away, you really can't. Even though, like they say, the eye can see so far, you'll see the curvature of the earth. You can never see the curvature of the earth because we're so small. The other thing too is like if it was a flat earth, I mean, if it was a flat Earth, we have that Einstein guy who came up with all these theories, and he talked about the vortex that we're actually spinning around the sun with the planets, and the moons are spinning around the Earth, and at the same time we're spinning in our galaxy, and we're hurling towards a black hole. How can something flat spin?
so you're pretty fresh to this debate, right? Like you haven't.
I'm not first. I heard it a lot. I haven't
When
met
did you
you.
first hear about it?
I used to watch what's his name? That guy, what's his name? Owen Benjamin. You ever hear of him?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I watched Owen Benjamin while he was monetized on YouTube until he got demonetized, until he became a flat earther on one of those other platforms after he got kicked off of YouTube. So Owen Benjamin wasn't a flat earther until he made friends with this flat earther and he had him on his show as a guest. And now, I mean, Owen Benjamin is way gone. I mean, that guy was making so much money on YouTube until he got demonetized. But he became a flat earther. And just the things he says, And if you don't believe him or you say anything against his comments, he gets so angry that he just blocks people. And that's why I lost full respect for him. But the thing is that if you have a spinning, right? I mean, there's got to be some resistance in space. That's why maybe everything is round. So as everything's spin, I mean, the sun looks round, the moon looks round, all the other planets look round. So you
So
say to yourself,
I hate to cut you off, but you kind of went from one thought experiment hypothetical to prove your position, and now you're rolling into another logical fallacy. I just want to point that out before we continue. In my opinion, and you're free to disagree, and I never attack somebody for what they believe. Heck, I believe in a flat Earth, but my belief is supported with some actual like hardcore evidence that you can verify. For example, radar signal being able, the first one, not the very, very first one, but the first transcontinental one, they thought was impossible. They thought the curve of the Earth would stop it, the signal from being able to get that far. But they managed to shoot it from all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, 2,100 miles, and then they had to theorize after that that they bounced it off of something, and that's how it was able to go so far, even though they didn't do like a angle calculation or anything like that. It's just really fishy. A lot of the globe proofs are they beg the question. They have to assert that the Earth is a globe first, and then they have to back it up with their claim, um, with like some sort of like mathematic or some sort of thought experiment that's either a logical fallacy or just outright unverifiable. Like for example, you started off with the, well, if you got up in a rocket, you started going up and away, further and further and further away from the Earth. In my view, nobody's ever done that, and until somebody does, I mean, I tend to think that you can't do that. Um,
right, I agree with you. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just using the example of them claiming that they went to the moon. That what would happen is the rocket is so minuscule that in the vastness of space, however it exists, the rocket would dissipate. It would just disappear. It would lose it wouldn't even be able to see the moon anymore because of just the size of the rocket, and the people in the rocket is even smaller. So the people we on Earth, right, are so small compared to the Earth that you would think that it's flat because we're so small and the distance is so far because of the Earth is so massive,
Do you know how
right?
big the Earth is?
I took astrology in college, and I really I forgot exactly the circumference of the Earth.
Well, it is.
I forgot. I
The
mean,
thing is that, and I get what you're saying about being so massive, and I've probably heard probably at this point over 1,000 times the analogy of the ant on the basketball, and I
oh,
get
okay.
it. Like I get what you're trying to say with it, but the thing is that if we know how big the Earth is, then we can measure the rate of curvature, and flat earthers blow past that curvature calculation all the time, to the point that refraction has now had to be brought into the mainframe, so that these observations can be explained, even though some of these observations have absolutely no distortion. I've had Globers say, well, there doesn't have to be distortion in a mirage. And that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I've never personally seen a mirage without at least a little bit of distortion in it. So, but I'm curious as to your thoughts on that. I know the whole idea of it being so massive, but if you can measure it and we can, clearly see that that prediction of measurement curvature is not, upheld, then we should be able to agree that that's a point for flat Earth, right?
Right, but I mean, who's making those calculations?
Well, everybody
You can
can.
hire,
There's
yeah, I
there's
mean,
been
you
a
can
ton
hire
of different people
mathematicians.
that's done it.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can hire a mathematician or a statistician to give you whatever outcome you want. You
No,
can
we don't
hire a
even we
scientist.
don't even need to do that. There's actually agreed upon from should be agreed upon from all sides, like four different ways to calculate the curvature, and then you can put it into whatever increment you want, like feet, miles, the metric system, whatever. I'm in America, so I use feet and inches.
Right.
but
I'm gonna make that.
but yeah, you can use it, you can convert it, and now people from both sides have agreed that the 8 inches per square mile is fairly accurate, and you can also incorporate the observer height in that. They try to say that we don't incorporate observer height, but that's just preposterous. They clearly do. So, but anyway,
I mean, your claims are, they're very convincing. I have to say, in my opinion, like I will tell you, flat Earth is very convincing. Sometimes you kind of almost convince me, right? With the data and the explanations that you have. But what continues to make me believe that the Earth is round is because basically everything else on Earth is round. Life itself is round.
what are you talking about?
Life begins. Well, I'm talking about like our cell structure is round. The rings in a tree are round. Um, light like not like rocks. I mean, there are flat rocks and round rocks, but I mean anything that's organic begins with a round, something round like an egg, bird eggs,
So
reptile eggs. They're all round.
Well, I would say this, and this goes back to the whole what we say about the celestial bodies. Why are all those other planets round and Earth is the only flat one? That doesn't make sense. That
Right.
argument is even looser than that. You're saying that because there's other things that are round, and certainly not everything in nature is round. We can look at cells of plants, and they are clearly squares. So there are plenty of things in nature that are not round, and I would say that even if everything on Earth was round except for the Earth itself, if we can measure that the Earth is not curving, we shouldn't just then believe that Earth is curving simply because other things are round, should we?
Well, you believe that the Earth is circular and a flat, as sort of like a flat plane, but not
Well, I don't
round.
know the parameters. I just know that the known we have like a circle of what's the known world.
Okay.
There are different conceptions of what can be past that. It is 100% speculation because unfortunately we're not allowed to go back and verify that area past the ring of Antarctica.
So you could say that the Earth is jagged. It's not. It's not a clear. It's sort of like a border of countries, like they're jagged.
It's kind of like a relatively flat level plain with hills and valleys and oceans and low elevation and high elevation. But yeah, I just say it's not a overall shape. It's just a descriptor.
A descriptor. Okay. So like if you went to one end to the other, in some points it'll be a shorter distance than others. So from like if you shot uh like a light beam of a laser leveler across the earth, if you had one strong enough, if if you stand at, let's say, at 0.1 degrees, you would get one distance. If you turned at 4.2 degrees, it would be shorter. You would get a shorter distance. So every fraction of a degree, you would have a longer or shorter distance, being that it's not the edge of the earth is not perfect. So what's underneath the earth? What's holding everything up?
Yeah, that's again pure speculation. I don't even know if there is an underneath or if we're just the basement of the universe, so to speak. The deepest hole that has ever been dug was the Great Borehole that only went about 8 miles deep. And the funny thing is that when they did dig that hole, they had all this equipment that was supposed to tell them what layer of rock or substance was going to be beneath them next, and they were wrong like every step of the way. So we're then supposed to believe that even though they got all that wrong, that they are going to get the rest of the however many thousands of miles to the Earth's core correct.
So what about the Mariana Trench?
But what about the Mariana Trench?
Well, that's thousands of feet deep, right? I mean, how deep is that? That's the deepest part of the world.
Well, that's not the deepest that humans have been.
We've been deeper than that. All right, that's where. Do you know?
I'm saying the deepest that humans have actually been. Well, if you don't count like depths in the ocean, but we're not like we haven't dug, to my knowledge, and somebody's free to correct me if I'm wrong. To my knowledge, we haven't dug into the crust at the bottom of the ocean. Um,
Right. So you have the bottom of the ocean, and then Mount. What's the tallest mountain in the world? Uh, is it in the Himalayas? What's the tallest mountain?
I think you're right on that.
So
The Himalayas.
right. So I'm thinking like from the tallest mountain to the so basically the way it works is the mountain actually goes down into the ocean, right? Because the land we live on is actually mountainous land that comes out of the ocean, right?
I mean,
Because
sure.
there's more water than there is land. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty obvious.
Right. So if you go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the ocean, that's pretty deep. That's pretty far. So what's holding up all the mass? But if it's round and you take an egg and you try and crush it with your hand, it's impossible. So maybe the Earth is the same, where the way the Earth is shaped, round, it can support the massive weight of the ocean
There's
and the
you're thinking it
you
like
know what I'm talking about?
you're still thinking of it. I know what's going on. You're thinking of it as a disk planet, but that's not the case at all. That's not what flat earthers believe.
No, not
Most
flat.
flat
I'm
earthers
talking
believe
about
that we're the basement of the universe, and that
base. I never heard that. That's the
yeah. So
first time I heard that.
it's not like we're suspended in space, if you will. We don't believe in that whole cosmology. We're a
Oh,
we're a geocentric cosmology.
oh, oh, wow.
I thought
Right,
you
that's
said you
complete.
you looked at this
That
stuff before.
I never heard that term before. That blows my mind.
Oh wow, you
What
never
you
heard the
just said.
term
They spread
geocentric?
they stuff
That
about
you
flat.
No, I know what Gio said, but I mean, I never thought that flat earthers believe that the Earth is the base of the universe.
The
Is that what you're
base.
saying? It's the base.
Yeah, the
The
base, the
base.
bottom, the bottom of it.
Right, right. So basically, okay, so the bottom of the universe.
Yeah,
So
like all the other ancient
how does the
cultures
universe
believe,
get
they
there?
all believe that the Earth was a flat, stationary plane, and most of them believed in some sort of firmament or covering over it. For example, the Egyptians believed in the god Geb was the Earth, and that the sky goddess Nut, that her body was the overarching sky. So something kind of like that.
Oh, so it's Egyptian. Okay.
No,
I mean, what's
it's actually
fascinating?
all the cultures just about. The only culture
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't believe it is ours.
So basically, if you have not
Just one
archaeologists.
second before you go off on your next point. I use my voice. Thanks for being patient. Welcome to the
Oh
show.
yeah. What's up, brother?
Yo, I got a question for the police.
Archaeology.
For the what? I'm sorry.
I have a question for John Venti.
John, hey, what's up? How you doing?
So, if the Earth were round, then how can we see the Chicago skylines from Lake Michigan?
Oh, I believe the Earth is round, bro. I'm with you.
I know, but how would it work on a round Earth
How would it work?
or a spherical? Do you believe in like round, like a tabletop round, or like spherical, a ball?
It's like an egg. The Earth with tectonic plates and
Okay,
everything. The Earth is constantly like shifting. We don't feel it because of the
yeah.
gravitational
That's back
pull
to
and centrifugal force and just the
back to my
motion of
question.
it.
How can we see Chicago skylines from the Lake Michigan? I'm
Because
doing it right now.
how far out are you on the lake?
All right, so from Lake Michigan, hold up, pulled it
How
up
far
and
out
test.
are you on the lake?
It's 59 miles away,
All right, so
and
you're
the
saying that
highest the highest building the highest building is about uh 1,452 feet tall.
All right, so I was never on Lake Michigan.
Hmm.
So what you're trying to say is that you're on Lake Michigan. Now, are you on Lake Michigan at high tide, low
This,
tide?
this you're 5 feet. Observer height is 5 feet. You're looking at it from the. You're just five.
What?
Imagine a regular dude 5.8, 5'8", 5'8".
All right, so you believe in flat Earth, right? Is what you're trying to
Yes.
say? Okay. All
Yes.
right. Good. All right. That's good. So now I know where you're coming from. All right. I thought you were, I thought you were with
No.
me. But all right. So basically, what happens is, like I was trying to explain before to the host, right? Which he's explaining it very good, and he really blew my mind about being the base. But what I said earlier, I don't know if you were in the live chat.
Yeah, I was.
That so you're on a boat,
Hmm.
right? You're on a boat that's waving. And Chicago, the Chicago skyline, you said,
Yes, sir.
all right, is 54 miles away.
It is
All
59
right,
miles
so
away from the.
59 miles away, and you're on a boat. And how can you see? So, what do you see? Like the lights? You see the buildings? What do you see from that far?
All
With
the
your
building.
bare eyes, you
I
you
mean,
see buildings.
in with like
What's the tallest building in Chicago?
the tallest building is 1,452 feet.
Okay, so from being on a boat and being on the water, the way the height is of Chicago, so
No,
you're
sir,
above
you're not on a boat. We're on the shoreline, just on the beach looking. But you zoom in with any type of telescope, phone, whatever, and you can see it.
well, you're looking with
But
your bare. Well, I'm talking about bare eyes, not
I mean, bare
telescopes.
eyes, you wouldn't be able to see it because perception
Oh,
is too
okay.
far.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't be able to see it. Yeah, of course. Of
But
course not.
if you zoom in, if there's a curve, you wouldn't be able to see it, sir.
If well, binoculars bend light. That's how
They
they
bend.
even like in a like I used to be a photographer. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have a zoom lens and you have a client that you're shooting and you shoot them, let's say you have a 20 to 210 and you shoot them at 110, you're gonna make them look a little chubby.
Wait, so
So
basically, you're
so the
somebody was.
way hold on a second. So the way to avoid that is you need a wider aperture. So the more money you spend on a lens with the widest aperture, as you zoom in, the perspective will maintain its progression. You know what I'm talking about? As you zoom in. But they really can't perfect the lens that well, even though it is, but you will still enlarge your subject. So that's why a lot of photographers want to shoot their clients with a fixed focal lens with the
Mm-hmm.
widest aperture to get the closest, to get the most perspective, natural look. So if you're on a boat and you're using, I'm sorry, you're on the shore and you're using cheap binoculars, right? It's going to
Mm-hmm.
bend the light because they're garbage. If you
So
use a
basically,
telescope, if you're on a naval ship, if you're on a naval base and they have binoculars that they give like the captains on uh battleships like that cost $5,000, you'll see a
mhm.
complete difference from you
Okay,
looking
can
at it with cheap binoculars.
so basically, you're saying if there was a slight, let's say we were to take a picture at a hill or something, a slight hill, it's not too tall, not too.
Right.
If you go on the side of that hill far away, and I zoomed in, I would see the whole body of the person.
Yeah.
If they're
Yeah. If you have
decided,
like if you have like a Nikon 900 that has like a thousand times zoom, that is
2000.
basically like a digital zoom, yeah, you're gonna bring it in. That's the magic of photography and
it
lenses.
would make sense if I gained altitude doing that, but I'm at the same eye level at the same place. Even if I were to zoom in on your guys' model, it still wouldn't come in to the vision.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, we're so small that even 59 miles to us isn't the curvature of the earth. See, like
So
the picture
who's
the
math?
gentleman has behind us in pink, it's very uh Um, it's it's not it's not realistic
So
to the
your
human
model,
eye.
I'm
Right. To
using
the
your.
human eye, that's not realistic. The way you should do is you should take it proportionally. So let's say you take what scientists say.
One second.
You want me to be quiet?
One
No, go
second.
ahead.
Cobra Khan, Molly, welcome to the show. Thanks for being patient. We got a
Thank you.
dynamic
Thanks for
conversation
having me.
going on right now.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Uh,
Dynamic. Well,
I have a question for the host. First of all, thank you for the host for adding me on. I'm from Manchester, England. I just came on listening to you. I'm actually interested in. I've got a few questions for you, the host. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, that's fine. And do you believe NASA is lying to you? Well, lying to all of us about the Earth being round or spherical?
2 for 2.
Okay, that's fine. So normally, when we find the government lying to us, it's normally for a benefit to them, or it's going to benefit them either financially, or it's going to there's going to be some
It does.
sort of benefit to the government for lying to us. What
It does.
benefit does it give them lying to us about the Earth being flat or round?
Sure.
Oh
I'll answer
man.
that in 2 parts. First part, I
Please.
would say that even if I don't 100% know the motivation, which I'll be upfront in saying that I don't 100% know, it's all speculation. I would ask you that if there is evidence of foul play or a lie, if you will, isn't that enough evidence in itself that a lie has taken place? Or do we need the motive to believe that a lie has taken place?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Sure. I would
You're
ask if,
safe.
even if I don't know the motive 100%, because I'll be
mhm.
upfront in
Yeah.
admitting that it's
No, of
speculation.
course, a lie could have taken place. There's always a chance that a lie could have taken place, and if it is a lie, then it's a lie. But normally, when we see them lie about something, whether it's invasion of a country or something like that, there's some sort of benefit to them for lying about something,
We,
so they will gain some sort of
I'll answer that
benefit
the
from it.
most direct way I can and say that we can't verify exactly the reason for the lie because we're not allowed to fully explore the one area that
Okay,
would verify it for us.
Now,
that's
I
fine.
would
That's
like to
fine.
add for that,
65
Cobra.
a is nice though.
It has a lot to do with, I would say, divinity, of course, hiding creation, but the biggest factor that we can all
Hmm.
see happening in our day-to-day life is they are stealing our money and making us slaves.
yes, for
If
Yeah,
we
sure.
we
all
can see
knew
that, and we
the
can.
true nature of our earth and where we live and our purpose here as a collective, there would be no way anything that they are pulling off would be working or happening in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And
Okay.
what they're worried about is if
Yeah.
we all come together, Cobra, if every
Mm.
single one of us come together, or even 2% of us, 3% of us of the world comes together, we now have the biggest army ever. They can't control us. They have no army without us. They have no workers without us. They make no money. And we live in in a system that was designed for 99% of people to fail. That's why it's called the 1%. The system was
Yeah, I
designed
understand all
for
that,
us to
and I
work.
totally agree with you on all the points that you just
Yeah.
raised. The only thing I'm confused about is if there was, all right, say we was all to believe that the Earth is flat. What difference does it make to our life, whether it was flat or round? We still have to go to work tomorrow. To us in our day-to-day lives, the Earth is flat for me anyway, because when I go out the house, it looks
Right.
flat, it feels flat, and it
So,
is flat to me.
No, it's
well,
interesting.
Now, whether if it's round or not has no um I don't feel like
so
it benefits them in any way, and I don't think it changes my life in any way.
if everyone knows the true nature of our Earth, then they know that, for one, that the Earth was created, that it wasn't all by accident. And Cobra, are you going to go to work and slave for money to pay for food, water, and resources that were put on the Earth here in abundance for you to have for free? Like, we shouldn't be paying people and slaving our lives
I
away
agree
for
with that. I think
things
that's a separate
that
argument.
and people can say, "Oh, you're not entitled to anything in this world." Cobra, you and I and everyone else that you've ever met never will are entitled to every single thing that this world has
I
to
absolutely
offer,
agree with that.
including knowledge. We should all
True.
have every single bit of knowledge that anyone has ever obtained. People say, "Oh, we have the internet, yada yada yada." No,
But normally,
knowledge is
yeah,
power,
the
and they
only
keep
thing
that power from us.
I totally agree with you. I think all the points you're making are 100% facts. No disagreement there at all. The only thing that the only thing that I still can't get my head around is if they was to lie that the Earth was round or flat, how would that benefit them? And then, like I said, if they were telling us there's limited resources and that they have to charge us more for
So,
it, like they're
well,
doing at
you
the
said
moment,
that you would have to go back to work, Cobra, and yeah, maybe for the first week, people might be like, "What the heck? How do we adjust if this were to actually come out worldwide?" Uh,
mm,
it would take a small adjustment, but like I said, the whole system would collapse. They have no system without their power and without their, I mean,
so
once we take
what's
our
that got to
power
do with
back, they
the
have
Earth's
no
shape?
power.
There's
Yeah,
How does that
Again,
NASA's
prove their
actually
power?
a useless. I mean,
How does the shape of the Earth
they
prove
just
but
their
use.
that's
power?
why they're hiding it. Everything that I just
Yeah.
mentioned to you would all fall apart, and I wouldn't even be having to say this if everyone knew the
Would it
nature
fall
of the world
apart?
that they
Would it
live.
fall apart because of the lie being exposed, or would it fall apart about because of the shape being different?
The system would have never even been built
being
without the
exposed.
lie. Like, no one was having this whenever everyone knew. It wasn't until they indoctrinated everyone into believing this that's when everyone started to get comfy with the system. And the system provides
Look,
you comfort, convenience, most people, most times.
can I
So
ask
it
you a
was easy
question?
for people to fall into. Of course.
Do flat earthers believe in dinosaurs?
No.
Some do,
Most
some
What
don't.
about
don't.
I
you?
don't.
All
Some,
right, I
yeah, I'm
don't.
not going to
I
speak for
don't.
everyone. I do not. There's no
I don't.
evidence for them.
All right. One more question. Easy
So,
one. Do
yeah.
flat earthers believe in evolution?
No.
Microevolution and adaptation, absolutely. Like, we can
Adaptation
go
of
with
human
that. As
beings
far as natural
evolving?
selection, and the if
Like
you're asking
random
if I
changes?
think that we either came from single-celled organisms billions of years ago or monkeys millions and billions of years ago, absolutely not.
Monk.
Again, no
So you believe
evidence
in
for that.
creationism. So as a
Absolutely.
flat
Yes.
earthers believe in creation.
Most.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. So
But
that's good.
me,
I'm on that.
absolutely.
I'm on that plane. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe in dinosaurs. I don't believe in moon landings. I don't believe in
You're
Exactly.
evolution
awesome then, yeah.
because
Everybody's
they've
awesome,
never
but that's
found.
awesome.
Everyone has to understand that they've never found a full whatever the Homo erectus or all those other
Yeah.
type of humanoids. They never found a full skeleton or really any real skeletons.
Actually.
Even
Yep.
dinosaurs, and the first dinosaur was discovered in 1647.
It's actually 1846.
Well,
I could
that's evolution. That's
No,
evolution.
the first dinosaur. You can Google it. When was the first dinosaur bone found? It was in the
1647.
1800s.
No,
No, that's way
that's the
too
theory of
early.
evolution. Yeah, that's the
No,
theory of
no,
evolution.
no, no. I'm about to Google it for you.
Oh, go ahead.
And I don't like Google, but it's what everyone's like. You
You're
can just
free to
Google
But
it.
you know,
search the internet
when did humans find out the Earth was round? When did
Oh,
they actually
I guess
discover
you're
that?
right.
I
before
believe it.
Christopher Columbus.
Okay,
And before that they believed it was flat, right?
Yes.
Well, before that, there wasn't that
So
many
how come humanity
sailors.
didn't end then?
What?
How come civilization didn't go crazy when they found out that it was round? When they
they
I
changed
mean,
it
they
from
did,
because of
everyone believing it was flat, and then now
and
everyone
it's
suddenly
actually
believing it was round.
happened pretty recently. I've met women on
maybe
TikTok
because the
that are
status of
pretty,
the person said it was
older,
round.
and they were taught flat Earth in school. You can still find people alive today that when they were
Exactly. A lot of
taught
people
in
were.
school the shape of the Earth, it was flat.
When they
And
showed
I
them
wanted to correct
That's
myself.
true.
The word dinosaur was made up in 1841, but they claim to have found a dinosaur bone before that. But the word was made up, so I apologize.
yeah, the word, but
Mm.
the actual discovery, which they
Mhm.
just made it all up, was in 1647.
Yeah,
Yeah,
recently.
and the guy who discovered it, his family went on to establish the Smithsonian Institute. So that's fact. Yeah, and you know how much money they get. I think the United
Yeah.
States gives them $4 billion a year.
Nothing
And
That's
fishy
so
pretty
going
I'm
money,
on
gonna
there.
man.
ask you something. Do you believe
Yeah.
in giants?
Yes.
Uh,
Man.
They're giant humans.
So they,
I
you know
don't
how
believe in
we all
giants.
know that they have to tell us the truth, right? So I hold on. How do I work this?
I mean, the giants, because people were so
Okay.
small back then.
So they basically tell you the truth, because we all know that
Yeah,
they
right. The seed
found
always have to
dinosaurs,
reveal
that
the
they actually
truth.
found exactly. Right here it says they discovered the first dinosaur bone, but his best guess as to what it belonged to was a giant human. So,
Yeah,
and this
Bruh.
is again
it's
right when you Google
ridiculous.
it on discovery.com, they tell you that they thought it was a giant human, but instead decided to make some crap up about
Also,
dinosaurs.
how did T Rexes have sex?
They I've actually
Well,
heard
go
that
to the
they did
Spanish
the whole
museum.
egg thing.
The little
No,
arms were
what you
But
got
useful.
to do is go to the Spanish museum, the Spanish Historical Museum in Spain, and they have a mural in the dinosaur hall with two dinosaurs having sex. It's
Mm.
just, I mean, it's crazy. They have the
See,
one dinosaur, I guess it's the female, and she's bending all the way down with a tail all the way up, and then the male dinosaur is just trying to. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
right, bro.
Yeah, you
What
all
could
right.
search that.
I just
It's
have a quick
hysterical.
question.
So now you're gonna bring your children to a museum, and the first thing they're gonna see is dinosaur sex.
That's crazy.
Okay, I have a quick question. So it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like whatever the people who run the world, the 1%, whatever they say, you're against. So you believing the flat Earth is, the Earth is being flat, is that like also part of that
it's
rebellion? I would say, or
it's
is
So
actually
I'm
not
gonna
that
show
like
you
simple.
whatever they
something.
say, we're just gonna disbelieve?
I have a
I'm gonna show you something.
I have an unpopular opinion probably on
Mm,
it, in that they're playing the game of 5D chess, and they tell us some things that are the truth, and they tell us other things that are the lie, and then they
mm,
kind of leave it for us to decipher through. So it's not just as simple as just going against whatever they say.
mm,
Because if they were to come out tomorrow and start saying that the Earth was flat, I
mm.
still would be trusting them. You know, the Earth being
Yeah,
flat is just something that's it's just something that's measurable and observable. Whereas other things, not so much.
I mean,
And
I'm trying
have
to
you
grasp the
seen?
whole flat Earth, but the same reasoning you have for flat Earth, dinosaur believers have the same reasoning. Oh, it's measured. Oh, they found
No,
bones. Oh,
it's you have it reversed.
they have every
Actually,
excuse in the book
that's what it is
to
for the
convince you
globe.
that dinosaurs exist.
The flat Earth is just the
They were
default as you can see with your eyes and you experience on a day to day basis.
Right.
It's only with their convoluted mathematics and their thought ideas programs that they give you that you start to think that it could be a ball despite what you're seeing.
So this is a video by the World
Oh,
Economic Forum that they put on Facebook, and they blatantly tell you that they're going to control your entire life by 2030, but you guys think we're conspiracy theorists. You'll own nothing and be
I
happy.
can
It tells you
understand
that
conspiracy theories.
whatever you want, you'll rent it. My
Oh,
friend, do you want to rent every single thing that you'll ever need and have it delivered by drone and never come in contact with any people and work in the metaverse and have a chip in your hand whenever you want to pay for something? They're trying
Molly,
to steal your literal
Molly,
soul
Molly,
from you.
you're saying that
Like
you're
that's the
everything you're
goal.
saying
Like
is
call me a
true.
crazy conspiracy theorist, but
I don't think it's conspiracy theory. I think what you're saying is true, but that has got nothing to do with the Earth being flat or round.
I mean, bro,
Them,
lie on
yeah.
it
top
does
of all
though because
lies.
Well,
none of
she's
this
just
would
making
fly.
examples of mind
No,
Just
but they're
control.
top,
two different examples. There's lies for benefit, for financial benefit, and then there's lies which
65
have no
million a
benefit to them.
day.
I don't. If you can just
yeah,
explain to me how they benefit from the Earth being round or
20,
flat.
bro, $28 billion a year, bro.
Yeah, figure that out. Like, what do they do
You
with that money?
that, bro? Come on, man.
What do they do with that? I
So
mean, if you
much.
go, if you,
It's so much
what people
money.
need to do is go to the Space Museum in Washington D.C. and just look at the lunar rocket, the capsule. It's a joke.
Bro, I bought a fake moon rock from
So
NASA, bro. That's everything turned, bro. Yeah, they
A
Okay,
pissed
fake
me.
so
moon
I
rock?
love the fake moon
Yeah,
rocks.
fake moon
Yeah,
rock,
I
bro.
want one.
if you was to go to the edge of Earth, what would stop you from falling off?
We can't go to the edge of
I
Earth,
saw
so
Wolf
it's a
the other
mute
day.
point.
There is no, yeah, and we believe in a firmament and an edge. So again, there is no space. There's nowhere for us to fall unless we go to the Grand Canyon.
I have a question.
So I
After.
go ahead,
Well,
and then
there
I want
is
to
no
bring up
space.
No,
something to him.
go ahead. You can go
So,
ahead.
do you believe that a sun goes around the Earth, or the Earth goes around the sun?
The Earth is.
Sun circles
Geocentric.
above
The
the Earth.
sun is rotating or revolving around.
Above.
Yes.
We're the base of the
Okay,
universe.
I'm
Wait,
out of this, mate. Nice talking to you
wait.
guys.
Cobra, let me
I'm
I
talking
ask
about
don't think
NASA's
I want to
money.
hear
Okay.
anymore.
Let me
Before
ask
we
you one.
Goodbye.
hold on, don't leave, Cobra. Wait.
Bye, Cobra. Take care.
He left.
I think we were laying it on a little thick for him.
Well, I was
Yeah.
about to bring up. Yeah. Well, this is a
Yeah,
great
the whole
point. I
base
mean,
theory is
820 million
fascinating.
people are starving, and this is how
Well, not
much money
really.
NASA takes every year. This is how much it would cost to solve world hunger.
How many people are starving?
People, yeah. And the ISS over the course of 820 million people, which is probably way more than that.
How many people are starving?
Supposedly 820 million.
820 million.
820 million.
That's what
Where?
the
All
World
over the
Health
world?
Organization
That's a
claims.
lot.
In
All
Africa.
over the
I
world.
doubt it.
The World Health.
That's
It
bro.
is
That's just.
800 million
absolutely.
people in Africa? Are
The
there
That's
even
just.
U.S.
800 million people in
Absolutely. It's
Africa?
everywhere.
I don't think there's
Imagine
800 million people
starving
in
I
Africa.
like
It's
your
everywhere.
skepticism, John. I'm not even gonna lie. I see what you're doing there, and I'm actually with you on a lot of stuff because I've kind of seen the world hunger thing as kind of a money scam as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing wrong with that skepticism at all.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean,
I
you
have a
have to do the
So,
math.
question.
to
I
let
mean,
you
when they
guys
give you
know,
like these
I
crazy
actually believe
numbers,
that the world population is much, much lower than what they tell us. There is absolutely no proof whatsoever that there's 8 billion people in the world. There is much less than that. So I
I don't.
agree that this number is probably skewed, and uh, yeah, I agree with that.
I have a question for globe people. Um, if I were to like drill a hole straight down from where I am right now, will I be able to see the sky on the other side, like all the way through? Or if I teleported there right now, like no clip, will I be upside down when I hit the other surface on the other side of the world?
Like it does in the cartoons.
Yeah, like if I were to just
I
like
actually,
I don't go
Hello.
down, no, I just spawn down
hi.
there.
Hey
Hey,
Connor,
what's up,
welcome to the
guys?
show.
what's up, Connor?
Thank you. Hey, I use my voice. I've been listening for a little bit, and I heard you had a question about Chicago skyline in Lake Michigan. Do you remember that?
Yeah. He's in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat right now.
what's up? Yeah.
My
Yeah.
voice.
So I live in Michigan. I often go to Lake Michigan and spend my vacations there. So I can be like a firsthand person. I've definitely seen the Chicago skyline from Lake Michigan. But the thing is, with my naked eye, the thing is, this is the difference. I can
Hmm.
only see like the tops of the buildings. I can't see, you know, uh, anything below that. Does that make sense? Because like
Yeah,
uh,
that's what
on
you
a
make it on.
globe, the higher you go, the more that you can see, and it's what do you call it? It's not linear. It's like the higher you go, you can see exponentially more.
There is pictures of the whole buildings though from that
Yeah,
distance.
gotta pull up a picture right now. Ask him if he can
Well,
explain
there's
it.
no need for pictures because I've been there and I've seen it with my eyes. There's no need.
That's naked eyes though. Like these people are zooming in with
But
cameras or
what
telescopes.
if what they see disagrees with what you've seen though?
But what you're saying is there's like a random person who uploaded a photo. I live in Michigan. I go to Lake Michigan all the time. I've seen it with my
Oh,
eyes.
nice. What part of Michigan did you live in, or do you live in?
I live right now in Royal Oak.
Oh, nice.
Michigan.
I used to live
Mhm.
over in Fenton.
Fenton, I'm not familiar too much with Fenton. I think it's more north for me, but yeah, I know of Fenton.
Yeah,
I
Fenton
grew
and
up in Commerce
Fenton.
Township
I stayed right on the border
in
of
West
Fenton and Linden, and it was like right near the Detroit Flint area. So it was like you see the mitten there. You're like we're talking like right here. Where about on the
Okay.
mitten did you say you were? You said Royal Oak, right?
Well, your hand is the wrong way, first of all, but it's closer to the thumb in Royal Oak. Royal Oak is like a suburb of Detroit, um, so more north than that, a
Nice.
little bit.
Like kind of up here.
Yeah. No, that's like St. Clair Shores up there, and yeah, like somewhere around there,
Awesome.
approximately. But the place that I used to visit, or I do visit, is around the Grand Haven area. So
Yeah.
just to make sure you guys know that I'm legit. I live in Michigan.
Oh, sure.
Like I know
No, I was
Michigan.
just. I think it's a small world, and
I don't doubt.
I lived in Michigan for a long time. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Michigan's a great place. But I just
Can
wanted to
I
bring
add
that
to
up
what you were
really
saying?
quick because
Also, even if you only see the tops on your model, it wouldn't work. You wouldn't even see the top. Even if you were like 80 feet in the air, you still wouldn't see the top.
uh so I honestly to be honest with you, I'm not a mathematician. I don't know the mathematics behind it. I know the like basics, like the higher you go exponentially, the more that you can see. And that's pretty
Hmm.
much it. So I haven't done the math myself. I couldn't, agree or disagree with you on that because I don't know personally.
Oh, fair.
But you sound like you're
But
a globe believer. Is that fair?
yeah, that would be
Awesome.
fair.
Just a quick to get your opinion on NASA. What do you think about them?
I don't really have much of an opinion on NASA. Um, I think they've given us cool technology. I don't have too much of an opinion on NASA.
Do you think it'd be like weird or, of course, wrong if they ever misled us in any way, being that they're like taxpayer funded?
Sure. How did they mislead us?
Do you see the picture behind me?
Yeah.
So this is a
I can pull up many that are.
so this is
Go
just
ahead.
one, like Molly was saying, one example of many. These are taken from two different elevations, and you can
Hmm.
see that this one here, which you would think the Earth is further away because it looks physically smaller, you can see how massive that waterway is that we see circled up here. That's that same exact waterway. Um,
Yeah. Where's that bottom picture taken from? Is that like an ISS photo or something?
it's taken from one of the satellites. I'm actually not entirely sure exactly where it was from.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, there could be like some weird lens on the camera, like they could have like a fisheye lens on there because they want to see their equipment very well. Like
I mean,
I can't really
they're
speak too much
definitely
on that.
What if they were wearing their astronaut shoes on
Okay.
the
they're
wrong
de-
feet in the middle of a spacewalk? Would that be weird?
Their astronaut shoes on the wrong feet. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
that'd be
pretty
pretty weird,
weird.
right?
And what about these before we get off the pictures? Like and I've seen people try and recreate this mistake and make it look the
Hmm.
same, and I've never seen it actually work. Again, do you want the small green United States, or do you want the big brown one, or do you want the pretty, green one?
Are those all
I
from
can show you the
NASA?
God's
this is
cause. These
great.
are all NASA. Yes, I
Yes,
googled
those are
NASA
all
Earth.
from
This is
NASA, bro.
nasa.gov right here, nasa.gov. This is nasa.gov right here, and then again, these are two completely different.
Wow.
And do you really think? I mean, this
Yeah,
is
I
just
mean, I
garbage.
couldn't
And if
really
you
speak
ask
much
for a
on that.
real picture,
I'm not a
If you
rocket
want a
scientist. I'm
real,
not, and
you
guys,
don't, but you
honestly,
don't,
I'm not.
okay,
Uh,
wait, before you
launch-
say that, I've always said you do not have to be a rocket scientist to understand the world that you live in.
Yeah, you're bringing up some things that I don't know about, so I don't feel comfortable talking about them because I don't want to speak, and
I
like
mean, you can
mislead
just
people
base
with
this on your
misinformation
perspective.
because I don't know anything about it.
That's fair.
I just asked you, like, do you live in the United States? Have you ever driven across the country? Does it look more like this, or does it look more like that? I mean, these look like totally
I couldn't
different.
tell you because I'd be at the
I
ground
mean,
level,
No,
and
this
one
is
of
I don't think
those
you're
one
moving
of
insane.
forward as
those is
far
in
as the moon.
spring and one of those is in summer.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But like honestly, guys, I'm not here to defend the globe model. I actually wanted to
Hmm.
probe the flat Earth model a little bit, if you guys allow me.
Everybody likes to probe the flat Earth model. Fire away.
Yeah, I mean it's the most
And
it's interesting, right?
well, you guys like to point out before we start this that we don't have a consensus, but I would like to mention before we get started, we can try and answer everything to the best of our abilities, but we don't get $65 million a day to go and prove our point, or to go and
Or to
fake our
push an
point for that
indoctrination
matter.
campaign for everybody to have the same script.
Yeah.
Okay, fair
If
enough.
we got $65 million in 10 years, dude, your whole life would be different. You and your child and your entire legacy would live on to be different if
We're
we got $65 million
we're
now.
getting there.
65 million
We're getting the
dollars in
scripts
days.
out.
That's fair. But I wanted to. Do you guys have? I'm sure you've heard this before. And I'm to be honest, I'm asking you these questions because like if you had an actual, because I've talked to many flat earthers. If you guys had an actual, legitimate answer to any of these, I'd actually consider flat Earth. So the first one
Well, we
being,
will
I'm
try our
sure you've
best.
heard of it. Pardon?
We will try our best. Or do our best, and we'll see what happens. But we're not trying to convince anyone. Like, I'm only speaking for
Sure.
myself, but none of us are. We're just here to plant seeds and,
Okay.
offer you what we
Um,
have.
so the first one, I'm sure you've heard it before. The fact that the stars spin differently in the northern and the southern hemisphere. To me, that screams a globe Earth. What do you guys think about that?
I think there's not a fantastic, well, good answer for that from our side, just my personal opinion, but I've heard some things like the stars being a reflection of the northern hemisphere. I've heard some things like the night is not even in the same time as all those other places. And I know there's an observation going out. Globe Face, I think he's in the comments as well. But he actually had the Southern Cross experiment, if you will, observation. And I think that that's something that should attempt to be recreated a couple times, to see if it has weight. And then if it does, we can attempt to explain the observation then. But as far as right now, I don't think we have a super duper good answer on it. But I do think it's weird that none of the
Okay.
southern stars were named until the
Um,
16th century.
All right. And props to you, man, because I've heard flat earthers talk out their ass on this point. Like if you don't know it, you don't know it. And
I'm
that's,
about to show
it
you
is
a,
what it is.
a
I don't know it.
diagram. What it
Yep.
shows
I
movement
don't know
that
none of that.
can help you understand perspective. So basically, and Globy has seen this video,
I
he
don't even
hates it.
understand.
But obviously, if you're standing in the middle, if you're standing at the equator, and I can again show you real life star trail photos right now that would match this observation, as you go down. Um, I'm waiting for him to get to the south. I'm not sure if he does.
Yeah, see that's
And
the
here
I don't
problem.
even
again.
understand.
But again, so if this man is facing this way, it's going to appear to rotate one direction, and if he turns this direction, it'll rotate the opposite. But it's all spinning in the same direction.
Um well, I think in the southern hemisphere, I think if you point your camera one direction and the other, I think it's still the same story. If I'm understanding correctly.
So picture this man right now. He's facing west. Let's face him north. These are going to be rotating counterclockwise in this diagram, and if you rotate him to the south, they would be rotating clockwise.
Okay, let me ask you this: why is this phenomenon only in the southern hemisphere?
Because you're in the southern part.
Why not? Why wouldn't it be the same in the northern hemisphere? Why is it consistent until you get into the southern hemisphere?
Well, there's actually overlap by quite a bit at at
Uh,
the equator. Have you ever seen star trails at the equator?
I've never been to the
so Caleb
equator.
Fe,
I
I
mean, you
can,
can
No.
just, you know,
it was
I'm
a
gonna
joke.
Google it for you. I'm sorry.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Globy.
Yo, you
So
should
this
try
is
to get.
star
So,
trails at
Hold
the
on a
equator.
second. I use my
Hold
voice.
on,
What's up?
Globy.
what's up?
I said you should try to get Caleb Fe in here.
I mean, you can
He
see
knows
what
a lot.
was
Yeah,
just
sure.
happening.
If you do you want to drop
I
so we can
see.
let him in?
I can. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Let me send him an
Yeah.
invite.
Molly, can you go show that other picture again?
Which
Yeah, so
one, Globy?
that looks to me like a
There's
globe.
tons.
Uh,
He's more than welcome to come in if he wants. If not, you can go ahead and jump back in the box. No worries.
so so for example, if I was on a globe and I was on the equator, the star. I think I know what you mean now. The star trails meaning like if you take a long exposure and you see the trail. Um, so if you're on the equator on a globe, then you would be, at its access point, right? So the star trails would do exactly what they look like in those photos.
Yep.
No worries. Hey, the guy who was just in here used my voice. You can hop back in. Caleb's just chilling right now.
Caleb's definitely just
Um,
chilling.
but we can move on. I want to get to another thing that
Oh,
Globy,
I,
not a lot of people like you.
I know
Go
that.
ahead, Connor.
I
I
wanted
want to
to.
get to another point really quick. So this is the biggest thing to me, because this is, you can easily verify this. So for me, one of the biggest problems with the flat Earth model, and this is in the model, like this is the picture. You showed it like about 10 or 15 minutes ago. So if I were to take like an orange and I were to take all the guts out of the orange, and I only had like the peel left, and the peel was still intact. But then I decided no, oranges are flat. Um, I'd have to smush down the orange and make like the rind side and the skin side, the rind side on the table and the skin side on top. Um, so in the center, right, the the uh, the rind wouldn't have split that much, right? But around the edges, the rind would be splitting because you're increasing the circumference. Are you following me?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro.
And that's not what happened to Flat Earth. It wasn't one day a ball and got squished. I don't
Right. I'm
understand
just
the
using
analogy.
this to explain what I'm going to say next, and
Uh-huh.
why this is such a big problem with the model. Um, so if you look, there are a few flights online in the southern hemisphere. And why I'm focusing so hard on the southern hemisphere is that exact reason. The model is smushed on the southern hemisphere. So the southern hemisphere is way bigger than it needs to be, or it actually is in reality. So if I were to take a flight from Argentina to New Zealand, the trip would be the same amount of time as like New York to Moscow. And in the flat Earth model, you can see with your eyes that those two distances are, even if you fly directly on the flat Earth model, are two way different distances. But if you know people that are going on both of these flights, they'll tell you that they both took similar amounts of time. So this is the biggest problem to me.
Is flight times?
I'm about to bring up some flight paths and flight
Yeah,
times for
16
you.
flight paths can. Yeah.
Yeah, because flight times kind of highlight the idea that maybe when we were making the flat Earth model, we made the southern hemisphere way too big than it should have been. Because if you look at flights that are only in the southern hemisphere, that are the same distance as flights in the northern hemisphere, they look much different. That they're taking much different lengths on the map, but if you're actually to take them, they take the same amount of time and they go the same amount of distance.
Yeah, you'd have to give me a specific example to know what you're
Yeah,
talking
so
about.
there are flights from Argentina to New Zealand, and I think the closest that I could find is like New York to Moscow, that are nonstop.
Okay, so what's the flight time then?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't give you like the exact hours that the flights were. I mean, you could put this in the back of your mind and look them up later.
I've looked
But
into flight paths quite a bit. I just haven't seen a flight that didn't jive with the flat Earth. To be honest with you, but hey, I'm open to new information. Well, looks like
okay, yeah, I mean, to be clear, that the flights need to be nonstop, right? Because that's the only way to compare like the actual times and the distances. So you take a nonstop flight in the northern hemisphere and you take a nonstop flight in the southern hemisphere that are the same distance. Then you go ahead and look at those distances on the flat Earth. The distances that they're traveling are they look on the flat Earth model wildly different, even though that they take the same amount of time. I'll let you know that I have spoken to other flat earthers, and they say that there is some type of jet stream in the southern hemisphere that makes the planes fly super fast. I guess is
it's not
what I've
even.
heard mostly.
It wasn't even like super fast. It's just I think it was like 1,000 miles or like 800 miles an hour faster. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, but these
I'd have to know
they
specifically what what two flights we're comparing to see what you're talking about. I'm not denying that it's a thing. I'm just saying I haven't, like you said, I'm not comfortable speaking on it until I've actually given it the good old look. But Molly said that she had something for the flight path, so if she wants to go ahead and bring those up, then we're all game.
Molly, you're on mute.
1 second.
Oh,
All
okay.
good. Well, I'll take this split second to go ahead and shamelessly plug the show. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thanks for smashing the likes, sharing the show. We already got 16 shares. It's phenomenal. This is aiming to be the hottest flat Earth versus globe Earth debate platform. So, if you like to discuss that kind of thing, then you have come to the right place. So please don't forget to support the show. We do have our very own sponsor in TrueSmacks. You can go to truesmacks.com, check out their resource page, and pick yourself up a bag of delicious, organic, healthy trail mix. All right. Send.
W sponsor.
Go ahead.
No, I said that was a W sponsor.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah, yeah. They're real great, great folks over there at True Smacks. So we appreciate having them. If you don't like trail mix or anything like that, feel free to support the show on the Cash App. You can go ahead and head to my bio and check that out. All donations are appreciated, but not mandatory. But again, we do appreciate them if you attach a message to them. I'll even read your message on the show. So the higher the dollar amount, the more priority the message gets. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, that's it for my shameless plug. Still waiting for Molly to get that together. Globy, you've been patient. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming on. What did you have for us today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I was just sitting in your comments, and I went and did this while you were talking with the TikTok camera. That was that region. It's, well, not my best work, but I did it real quick, just shaking around here. So you can zoom in. It's just focal length, right? That satellite or whatever that was taking that picture was very close to the Earth, right? And when you get very close to the Earth, you don't see the whole Earth. That's just how spheres work. So the land masses become distorted. So I just put my camera really close to my globe here, right, with the wide angle lens, and that's what it does.
We can't
And
see
when
your
you,
screen yet.
oh Jesus, I'm talking this whole time like an idiot. I haven't hit save. Here we go. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
So this was. I tried to replicate that image you had behind you off memory, but this was the first picture I took. And then you can zoom out a little bit, and then you zoom back a little bit. And I just pulling the camera away from my globe here, my desk.
The only issue I have with that is that in the picture that you see behind me, because I'm assuming that's what we're attempting to explain, you can clearly see that the globe on top is
Mm.
is clearly bigger than the one on the bottom, and to me that
I
would
mean, it's clearly bigger.
typically indicate that the one on the bottom is further away than the one on the top.
No, I'd say the one on the bottom is just probably more of a fisheye lens than the one on the top.
Yeah, it is the fisheye lens.
Okay,
Not gonna
cool.
lie.
We can agree it's a
Probably
lensing effect then.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a lensing effect causing that much of a curvature. Absolutely. Yeah.
Why do they use it to capture more? I
Yeah,
guess.
to capture a wide. That's what the definition of them is: wide angle lenses. You capture more of the frame in the shot you're taking, right? You never use your camera and you zoomed like all the way out. All the camera phones now, when you zoom all the way out, it switches to a wide angle lens, so you can capture more of
Yeah,
what you're seeing.
You gotta love
And it's the same.
the good old NASA marketing with the exaggerated curvature there.
exactly. Yeah, it does exaggerate the curvature, bro. Like,
Yeah, well, that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson was complaining about Red Bull because they used a wide angle lens when they shouldn't have bothered. And that whole thing he was saying on stage, if you watch the whole thing, at the end he goes, you know, there's no
I heard
reason
he.
to exaggerate the beauty of Earth, is what his whole point was there. Red Bull
I
shouldn't
heard.
have been using a fisheye lens. They should have just showed the natural shape of the Earth from that height.
Wait.
But
So
there
was
is
it?
no shape of the earth,
He's.
so they would have
Why
been
did he yell that it was
disappointed.
flat?
Well, that sounds very presupposing of you, Molly.
Well, okay, so have you ever looked into um someone has already put together a sweet little PDF for you. Everyone can go and get it for free. It's not everything's not about money, Globy. Um, but
Yes,
this
sir.
is 16 flight paths that prove flat Earth. And we can look up each and every single one of these if you wanted, and their
Let's look at
paths.
a few.
But
Yeah, let's look at some
um,
because
okay,
there's no
definitely.
such thing as a flight path that proves
There's a
any
few of
shape of
them.
any Earth.
Well,
There,
there's
there.
definitely some emergency landings that prove that they were not flying where they should have been flying
That's.
if
I
we
don't
were
think
on a
so.
globe.
I
So
don't think
like
that's true.
for an example, Globy, if we're flying
I
from
like the way
one
you say
part of the
globe.
southern hemisphere to an Globy, from one part of the southern hemisphere to another, why
Uh-huh.
on earth would we go 1,000 miles north of the equator?
Many reasons. Okay, the
Why?
airlines don't fly direct routes everywhere, do they?
Let's pull up
Right?
some
There's
of these flights, Globy.
many factors go into where an airline flies. Okay, like you know, uh, demand, whether there's aircraft available, whether there's staffing available. Right? If you can fly from South America to LA back down to Australia and satisfy demand from 3 different regions, 3 different cities using one plane, then that makes more sense than flying direct if the demand isn't there. So yes, there's many more factors in where an airline flies than just, oh, they're not flying straight there. It doesn't make sense. Why are they going out of the way? Because there's a lot more
Why are they
happening.
taking the extra? Why are they? Yeah. Why are they like? Why is there more? Like they're doing more than they should, I believe.
Why?
Cause like, why would you fly all that way for what?
I just explained
Um,
that.
so
There's
so there's
you got.
there can be a million reasons. I'm in my personal belief, if you want to prove something about the globe with a flight, I think you can only use direct routes. There's a million reasons why a flight um, carrier or whatever would make multiple stops. You can think of some, right? You can think of some. Like I can think of one off the top of my mind, like a fuel stop maybe, or maybe they need to go to a more popular destination first and then go to a less popular destination to make sure that the flight is all the way filled up. So there's just a few. Um, in my personal view,
It certainly sounds like a good story, and although I will admit that it may be plausible, when you look at these routes that they have, it just, man, there's just something that sits right with it, you know. So,
Well, you
Molly,
can
you're
certainly
muted, by
cherry
the
pick
way.
some. You can
Either
certainly
way,
cherry pick some routes out that look good on a flat Earth map. That's for sure. But that doesn't. That's
they
just
do
cherry
the
picking routes.
no,
they do the
Molly, I
same.
actually like that photo because those
There's
that
so
flight.
many. You just
The book only
So
had
yeah.
room for
let's look
16.
up those flights. Where is it? I'll
You
look them
should
up
look at
right
the
now.
Are these
Like
emergency landings or are these
Yeah,
flights?
this is the
yes,
emergency landings.
emergency landings.
So this is
Oh, that's an
But see,
emergency
the
Australia.
landing.
emergency landings are what expose your plans and your flight paths, my dude. I don't care about flight paths. I care about what happened. Oh shit, hit the fan.
So
We
that's
have to, expose ourselves because if we don't, someone's gonna
all
die.
right. So where was that flight going? Australia to where?
It's
Rio
Rio
de
de Janeiro
Janeiro. Yeah, yep.
to
And
Las
they stopped
Vegas
in Los Angeles.
or
No,
Los
yeah, they stopped in
Angeles.
Los Angeles. Yeah.
Oh, it was going that way. It was going east to west.
Wouldn't make sense, bro.
Yeah, you can. I mean, like I said, Globy, if you don't get paid to get on here and defend this crap, you really should go and ask for a paycheck.
Why? Because I'm so good at it.
No, it's embarrassing.
You're
Love you,
just
Embarrassing.
Globy.
What's
It
embarrassing is
is,
you
I'm
believe the
sorry.
Earth is flat.
What's
Oh,
embarrassing is
come
that you don't
2022,
get
on.
you
paid to
think the
defend
Earth
this
is flat,
crap.
Molly.
It's
It's fresh.
2022,
2022.
and you think you got
It's
We're
away with it, Globy. You think you
we're
got away with
adults.
it. You didn't. You thought you got away with it. You
We're
guys thought you
literally
fucking get
adults
away with
talking
it, so
about
now you're
flat
having to
Earth.
pay people
all right. Calm it down,
to come and
everybody.
expose your ass.
All right, yeah,
Everybody
calm
We
down.
knows that flat earthers
love
are
you,
in it to be
Globy.
hip, and we're in it to be cool.
We
You
love
know.
exposing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we love
guys are. It
exposing you,
is. It
Globy.
is the hip topic. That's about all you guys got going on here. Someone
wait,
keeps
Globy.
mentioning chorizo in the comments.
Why would we lie?
Yeah, what do we gain from it, Globy?
Yeah, why would we lie?
I don't know. You tell me. You're
I
the one
get
doing it.
I get no
I'll
money
tell you
from this
millions
yet.
of reasons why they'll.
Yeah.
Where
I
was
see you
the other
plugging
one? Los
advertisers though.
Angeles.
You're
Was
working
the
it.
other one Los Angeles to
I fly
Australia?
places, bro. I never seen the little curve you're talking about, bro. Never seen any of that.
Okay,
Read the
that's
page and
So,
show
great.
them the times.
What kind of curve would you like to
So
see? High altitude
You
balloon
know,
curve? Is
before
that
we
what you
move
want
on,
to
we're
say?
still on these.
I'll be muted for 1 minute.
All right,
We're still
man.
on
yeah,
these
hang
flight
on.
paths.
We're investigating this picture. We're investigating this picture. So okay, so I got it pulled up here. Um, where was that? It's from Los Angeles to where?
It was Rio de Janeiro to I don't know what flight number was it. I guess we need that first. It was Rio de Janeiro to To what, Perth?
Oh, it is. No. 1 second. 1 second.
Hey, I use my voice and Molly. I'm gonna let y'all hold it down. With Globy and Connor, I gotta step out for just a minute. I'll be right back.
For sure.
Okay. I believe.
Wait, no. What happened to the
So
NASA launch?
so this wasn't a normal flight path. This is when they were flying a couple soccer teams to go to a game, like obviously
Mhm.
like a fancy game in 1988. So if you just Google 1988 Australia Bicentenary Gold Cup emergency landing, I'm sure you'll find it.
That was a
But it
lot to
doesn't.
type in.
Okay, but the okay.
1 sec.
Fucking Google.
1988 emergency landing soccer. What? Varig flight 254.
All right.
I'll
Yeah,
let you do the
I
work.
literally can't find this image. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is, and there, I can't get a final destination. I think it was where is on the east side of Australia? Where's like a big city? Does anyone know?
I don't know nothing
No,
about.
I can check.
There, I'll just check in Australia.
Brisbane, Sydney. Sydney's on the east coast. Melbourne is like south coast. Sydney's going to be your
Okay,
best bet.
Sydney. We'll do Sydney. It should be approximately, right? So nonstop is 15 hours. And then
There's a Sydney to Johannesburg flight that's direct. 6 hours. 6 hours long. It's impossible on a flat Earth.
so I just wanted to highlight there is no flights directly to Los Angeles from Rio de Janeiro.
Wait, are you trying to connect it to what Molly was talking about?
What I'm trying to find is because these are two flights that kind of
You
show
talking
stuff
about?
in the southern hemisphere. So what I want to show is on the lines that she drew for on that map. They looked wildly different, but these flights aren't that far apart, I
So
believe.
I didn't draw that for one.
I don't even know what these flights
What's
are, bro.
Molly? Can you just tell us again what that flight was?
You guys can find this whole thing that's gonna have the pictures, the flight numbers, this whole PDF. That would make it easier for me.
Okay,
But
how do
this
I
whole
find that?
PDF, just type in 16 emergency landings proving flat Earth, and then you'll see an option. And the PDF file is like the third option if you Google it. That's the one where you don't have to pay for it.
Okay, I got it.
FlatEarthResearch.com.
My oh my god,
Look,
this
it's where we
PDF is
can get the free PDF.
Yeah.
okay. Here we go. I found it. Los Angeles
Yeah,
to
it's the
Sydney.
first one. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I got to get past all the gaslighting in the first 3 pages.
Stop. Yeah, Globy, your literal goal getting on here is to gaslight us, to make us question our sanity. That's the textbook definition of indoctrination, or I'm sorry,
Hey,
gaslighting, and that's what you do.
I'm not the one who started insulting you first today. That was you today, Molly.
How did I insult you today?
Tomorrow will be mine.
You
Dude,
have
I ain't gonna.
you have tough skin. That's
Oh,
all.
I didn't say I was hurt by it, but Don't tell them. I'm not the one gaslighting.
But gaslighting is not being offensive. Gaslighting is making someone question their sanity, and that's your goal getting on here.
Well,
So
if I was
unfortunately,
being,
there are no flights that go from Rio de Janeiro to Los Angeles. That's a bummer because that would have proved it right there.
Would an emergency flight
Proved
tell
what?
you that?
Well, what I want to see
Wait,
is
what's your
the.
up? Does it consider emergency flights, emergency landings?
And there's again tons that we could go through in this whole thing. Like, what a coinky dink that this is just
I
a
had a
straight
flight.
line.
San Paulo.
We're not saying that you can book a flight like that to go from whatever to whatever. We're saying these are
And
emergency landings they took.
the first
This
one
No, what I'm
specifically, they were on a private plane. Like, these were two soccer teams getting on this plane, doing a specific thing, going from one city to the other. So that's why you're probably not going to find, you know, exact routes with that.
so is there one in this PDF that is in the southern hemisphere? I bet it is all in the northern.
Let's see here.
First of all, this number one thing that you brought up while he's looking for that, this first one, the
Hmm.
Australian Bicentennial Cup. This entire thing I'm
Alrighty.
reading is he said. It's all he
And we're
said.
quiet
He
over
said.
here.
Wait, we're researching.
We're
This number
scrolling on
one
the
thing.
computer.
This whole thing is he used to work for an airline, and someone told him that the airline flight was supposed to be going from this city to that city. This whole thing is a he said she said.
So is a globe.
Can we really say that it's not real because of that though?
Yes, we need flights. If we're trying to verify something, we can't take a
Okay, well,
document.
there's
But she
tons
did mention that these
more,
are private
Globy.
planes.
Okay, well, let's find
That's
other
why.
examples. That's all I'm saying. This first number
Well,
one on his
All right, yeah.
scroll.
See,
Keep
all right, I can see
scrolling.
that's your
this,
indicator. One,
number one, the Bicentennial Cup is all based on he said, she
So do
said.
you
So I
see
guess
all
let's
those
try number
other
two.
do you see all of those other flight numbers you can look up? Come on, Globy. Just because you don't like the first one, like we can move on to other ones if you
All
want.
right. Well, all I'm saying, if the first one is suspect, that should tell you something. All right.
Man, I love the games we play. That's not real. No, that's
That's
not
so
real.
fun.
This whole thing is a story he's telling. Like, just give us a flight number and say it should have went from here to here, but it didn't. Like, what's with the word games in this
It
document?
in the book it definitely gives the flight number. I thought so. I'm confused on that.
Like, I don't understand why all these
Yeah, it
words
may
are in
be
here.
somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it.
There's too many words. The more words, the more confusion he's trying to create.
So
are you
is this?
trying to read it
I'm
for
what
real,
I'm
bro?
not reading all of this, but a lot of
No.
these are like, why didn't the flight go this way? And it's just like, the way it would go on a globe. And you're saying like, why didn't it go straight across,
Mhm.
Russia? But it wouldn't because the Earth is not
It's not
flat,
saying
right?
why didn't it. It's not. But see, it's not saying that you're not reading. It's not saying why
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
it. It's saying this is what it did do.
Yeah, it
It-
happened. Like
No. You're twisting the whole book. Like what you're
I'm
seeing
not.
on the flat map is what happened, and what you're seeing on the
it-
globe is what was supposed to happen, and it makes no sense.
Hey,
Is
one
Or
this
it took
is the
longer
one
than
that
one
it's supposed
second.
to,
is
or
the
they
one
made a
that
stop that was
Knife
out of the way.
Knife
How
Mohammed.
do they know it did though?
My girl's gonna message you my email. I'm not gonna put it in the chat. She's gonna send you a message, so you can send that to me. I'm not running from it. I'm definitely not a NASA fanboy. Fun stuff. Go
all
ahead.
right. So number two is Taiwan to LA, and the emergency landing was in Alaska. That's this one. I've seen David Weiss talk about this one on his presentation, and I guess he's saying they should have stopped in Hawaii.
Okay, can you explain it?
Okay, yes, I can, because on his map, when he shows you, and he showed it in his presentation, he took. I'll show you exactly what he did, and I'll explain it to you. See, Earth.
Wait, can you show his presentation first? Because I don't even know what I'm basing it off of.
He took it out of this paper, so I mean, if you're seeing this, you're seeing it. He's saying the flight went from Taiwan. It was going to L.A. and the emergency
Yes.
landing happened halfway through. I think it was a pregnant lady, maybe. The emergency landing should have
Yeah.
landed in Hawaii because that's between Taiwan and LA, but instead it went all the way north to Alaska. Why did it do that? And then they showed the flat map, which does it have it in here? Let's see. Probably does. Yeah, I guess so. Is that it? Yeah, I guess that's close enough.
Yeah,
Well, not really. I don't know. One of these maps, I guess. It looks. They make it look like it should go closer to Hawaii, right? But why
I mean,
didn't it
all right.
stop in Hawaii?
What's going wrong? What are we doing wrong here, man?
So what you're doing wrong is, oh yeah, that's what he does, right? What is
Yes.
it? What else like Hawaii? Blah, 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 blah. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing.
Never.
Gosh. It was now clear to me that China Airlines Flight 008 could not have landed in Hawaii because Hawaii is not really in between Asia and the Americas. It is shown on the globe. Anyway, look, this is what happens. I'll show you what happens. David Weiss takes a picture of the globe. I mean, I did a video on it. I'm sure I could find the freaking video, but anyway, I'll show you on here. So he takes a picture of the globe.
Also,
And he does this.
yeah.
All right, here is. Hard to see on here. So here's Taiwan. It's over here, and then he goes straight across.
Oh.
You go straight across. It's hard to see on here. If you draw a straight line across, it takes you to LA. This is LA.
Yeah.
Okay. And in between the two is Hawaii. So if you draw a straight line across, it would bring you closer to Hawaii. Okay.
Yes.
But that's not how airlines fly. Okay, this is a globe. They fly in great circle routes. So if you actually draw a line from Japan or Taiwan to LA, I'm going to draw a line, I'll mark the distance. You're going to see that great circle route, which is the route an airline flies over a sphere, brings you up closer to Alaska.
It sounds like an excellent cover.
It sounds like a cover. It's just geometry.
They have to go.
What do you mean it sounds like a cover?
Because on a flat Earth, it has to go more north. And you're showing that the Great Circle Route takes it
Honestly,
up
flight
north.
paths and flight stuff, we should just move on.
It's not north. It's not north. That's just the circle. When you look at it from the side, you'll see it's going up towards Hawaii. Like I can't make it clearer than drawing it on this map here for you, right?
Your defense is that they're going in a
circular make a line, or whatever. Like why do you think this line that I just made, this yellow line, looks like a circle from the side and it goes up? Because that's the Great Circle. But look, if we look at it from the side, it's going straight. If I can turn this thing, let's see. How do I turn this?
Yeah, it's gonna look like it's straight if you go.
It looks like it's straight if I can show you from the side, like this here. Okay, it's straight, but this is just the geometry of a sphere. If you were to complete this circle, it would make a circle all the way around the other side. It's just a circle. That's why they call it a great circle. Any point between 2 points on a globe makes a complete circle on that globe. Okay, but if you look at it from the side, yeah, it looks like it's going up, but it's not really going up. But the point is, it goes
You know
towards
what it's
hope.
really doing?
Goes
You know what
towards
it's
Hawaii.
really doing?
Well, you can presuppose that,
But
but you
you want
asked
to
me
know what
why
it's
this doesn't
really
work on a
doing?
globe. The point is, you guys don't,
24
do it right.
pictures is showing
You
that you
say
weren't
that
paying
route,
attention to.
you say that route can't work on a globe,
So
but it
you guys
does.
always show this flat map with all these crazy fucked up lines, and it makes a perfect circle on here too.
I
Like,
But
No,
because same with planes. Like
you
here,
asked me
all
why
of
it
these
doesn't work on a globe.
crazy looking baloney that you guys show.
Sure. I kind of with Globy in the original point that the flight pass, regardless, wouldn't prove it either way because you could just fly in whatever direction,
Yeah,
I
and
agree,
be
exactly.
I
whatever you need
agree.
to be. So, I
You
agree.
have
We
to
should go ahead
prove.
and move on.
That book is just called 16 Flight Paths that prove it, so I wouldn't say that they prove it. But
Globy, I have a question.
the book did make the
I have a
claim.
question, sir.
Sure,
Um, can you explain the Chicago skylines from Lake Michigan?
sure. The math
Yes, sir.
works.
The math works.
The math works. You have to understand that that picture was taken from 160 feet above the lake.
But the other dude that was in here, he said from eye level he still saw
What?
the tops of the buildings.
Maybe the very tops, but he didn't see all the buildings.
But see, this is where it went wrong. When I tried it on your model online on the little calculator shit, it did not work at all. You wouldn't even see the top, even if you were 80 feet in the air.
Well, yeah, there is. I mean, well, let's see. There is.
I did max refraction, whatever the fuck, bro. Nothing worked.
Wow, you
Just
did
wouldn't.
something wrong
If you
there.
guys are lying about the size, like it's way bigger than what you're talking about, or I don't know, bro. It just didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yes, sir.
That
You can
observation
catch it.
was. That
Advanced.
observation was what? I forget the numbers off the top of
Yeah,
my
it
head.
was like
What was it? 59 miles? No. I have to look
Basically,
it
what
up.
I did the tallest building in like within the skyline, and I did it on the calculator. And I think the tallest building is
17.
1,452 feet tall.
It's 1,700 feet. The Willis Tower. Okay.
1,700 feet.
Yeah.
All right.
And look.
Try that.
So
Try that on.
if I put in 161 feet observer height and 59 miles away, and the
Mhm.
Willis Tower is 1,700 feet tall, no refraction, zero refraction, and you're still seeing uh, 500 feet of the building.
so Globy. I have a question for you.
Oh
Yep.
hell
So
no,
I'm
that's
on the advanced Earth curve calculator. You guys love asking the question, why do things disappear from top to bottom?
Bottom to
As you
top.
can see, even yeah, I apologize, bottom to top. I apologize. But even when you do it on here on the flat Earth, it
What do you mean?
disappears from bottom to top.
What do you mean on the flat Earth? Like set his thing to flat Earth?
It yeah, we should
you're
be doing that
describing
because that's
our model.
reality.
You can't describe it on our model.
Stop
But
presupposing. We're trying to find the
what I
truth,
mean is,
Molly,
you
right?
guys
Don't
all
presuppose.
things disappear from bottom to top. No, no, I only act like that because you guys are so sure, call us crazy, do all this stuff, so I have to do the same back to you guys. Of
I'm
course, of
not doing
course.
any of that right
But
now. So
things
again,
do
you're
disappear
gaslighting.
from bottom to top.
How does this represent that? You're
Yeah.
saying this represents that? What you're showing?
No, 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 I haven't plugged in the numbers. I'm just saying that things do disappear from bottom to top. Doesn't matter if you're on a globe or the flat Earth.
Of course it does. Why would they disappear from bottom to top on a flat plane? That makes no sense.
That's people's argument. I
That's
heard
what it
that
does though.
argument from a
It
glober
disappears from
before.
bottom to top.
No, we can demonstrate that it does not. I mean, there was a whole bunch of videos going back and forth with Trouble and Tribune with the coin, right? if the camera is above ground level at all, that object never disappears from bottom up.
I tend to think
I
that
would disagree.
with trying to remember the exact term that was used before. I believe it was inferior mirage.
Mirroring.
Yeah, I believe that with some
Yeah.
mirroring, that it can definitely disappear into itself, which we see that happen all the time over water. And then I think that when you're not over water, you just have relative angular sizes to thank for that. You know, you got small things that block bigger things in the background. It's really, really easy.
That's some justification there. I mean, objects that aren't
Also,
being blocked by anything in
Globy,
front are disappearing bottom up. Yeah.
Well, I actually always tend
your
to think
math
that
was wrong.
there's. I always tend to think that there's
That's what's
something on the
happening
bottom
here
that's blocking.
on the flat Earth.
Globy's math
So
is wrong on the tallest tower thing.
oh god.
1,300 feet, not 1,700.
Like, I'm on your
Oh no.
guys' favorite thing, and that is happening. Things are disappearing from bottom to top with no refraction, nothing that could be distorting anything, bottom to top.
1729 to tip. So thank you for telling me I'm wrong on that. Willis Tower.
Meanwhile, we have some amazing technology coming out from NASA. On my screen here, we have some new transparent NASA suits. It's such a cool thing that they have. They actually figured out that you can now see stars in the spacewalk, as you can see.
No, you can't.
This was actually from News Channel 6, and it was a Russian spacewalk that NASA was airing, and that's what the claim was. And yeah, you can see stars throughout the whole thing. In the background there, they're pretty faint, but they actually zoom in. You can see that the stars are like that's on the back of the astronaut. It's just
Okay,
really
who
really
claimed those
funny.
were who claimed those were stars? You're saying Channel 6 News claimed those were stars?
Let me wait
With
just
some,
1 second and get the actual channel here. This was just this was on the news apparently. NASA
because I've
Live.
seen those. I've seen that effect before from some of the shots from up there when they're using night vision. And it's definitely not stars.
Well, the TikToker was claiming it were stars, so I don't know if it was
Yeah,
the
so
news claiming it was
he was wrong.
stars.
Yeah, it's not stars. They're hot pixels or some bullshit getting in the way. First of all, they're blue. They don't look anything like stars when you zoomed in on those.
Another
Those are
thing,
hot
We
pixels.
don't, we
another
They're
don't
hot
think they were
pixels.
stars.
They're hot pixels in the night vision cameras they're using.
what's the explanation for the green look that's going to happen here in a second?
The night vision, I guess. I don't know. Why would it make it look green? It's got to be night vision.
I tend to think it's reflected light from the green screen.
Well, then it would be keyed out if it
Globy,
was, because everything green gets keyed out, right? So it can't be reflective green light from the green screens.
The thing
I
I
have a
love about
question
you,
for you,
Globy,
Globy.
is that
What's your explanation?
What's that? Well, think about it. A green screen is put up so that you key out the background, right? Because it's green. So how can there be a reflection of the green screen, and we see it all? It would be keyed out. So those people would be gone. They'd be erased from this video. They wouldn't be seen.
maybe it's a different. I'm not sure on that. But I just love that you always have an answer for everything. Everything that comes up, no matter how weird it is. You're always like, oh, yep, no sweat. I got it right here. Pulls it out. It's so funny.
He has a script.
Well, look at that. Do you think
Uh,
stars look like that? They're like blue and white, and they look
No, we don't
ridiculous.
think
bro,
that's
that shit look
stars. That's the
fake as
point.
hell.
That's the point, is we think it's fake. That's the literal
Okay, well,
point, Globy, is that we
so,
don't think those are stars.
but they're
I have a
also in
question
front
for you.
of the
Why can we
people.
not see stars in airplanes? Like when you're
Yeah,
in an
they are in
airplane,
front of the people
why
too.
can you
Like,
not
what the
see the
fuck?
stars?
Yeah, because they're
Why
not
are they in
stars.
front?
They're hot pixels on the camera. Anyway, how
Yeah,
can you
I'm
not see
asking you a
stars from a
Hot
question,
plane?
Globy.
pixels. Hot
Yeah,
pixels
why?
is such a specific
I
answer,
don't know
bro.
what you
What the
mean because
hell?
you can see stars from a plane at night.
No, you can't. Google it.
You can't see stars from a plane at night?
No, literally, New York Times will tell you that you can't.
What is
Yeah, I
that?
don't
You can
think I
find it
ever.
all over. Science ABC, Quora,
During the
that was on
day?
news.
What are you
It's just a
talking
regular
about?
person. Parade. Yeah, at
During the
night you
night.
can't see stars from a plane.
Yeah, no, you
Hey,
can. I don't remember
host, do you
seeing it.
mind upbringing the flat Earth model, the globe, the map?
Sure, the one I had on earlier.
It literally
Yeah.
says right here, when you fly on commercial jets at night, why can't you see stars out the window? And why are there no stars in photographs taken in space by the astronauts?
I don't
The answer
know.
in each case is that there's too much light in competition with the faint glow from the distant stars. I would
Well,
say
it
there's
probably
potentially too much light in the upper atmosphere from the star or from the sun, and that's why we can't see it.
it depends on how close you are to a city, I would imagine. We're watching a
No,
flight right now. We're watching a flight right now. There's stars.
And if they have the exposure up or down or whatever,
hey,
then
no,
that would
bro.
be different
Exactly. It's
in a
different when you're
camera.
using a
That
freaking
doesn't
camera,
mean that he
bro.
can see that in
It's
his
way
with his
different when you
eyes.
use a phone camera.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but you said we can't see it. You just mean with your naked
You
eye?
can't.
You
I
can.
can go outside and look with my naked eye. I can't see it, but if I were to use my phone camera, I could see it. That's all it is, bro.
Well, yeah, you can change the exposure settings of your camera, but what is that? I'm not
We're talking
confused of what
about naked
that proves.
eye. I don't know.
All
I'm
right,
just
well,
adding.
I don't remember the last time I was on a flight at night to look at stars, so I can't personally say if I've ever seen stars.
I haven't
But
personally.
I know there's tons of videos of people on planes filming the stars out of the windows. So,
Also, what's
I
up
mean,
with
I
all them fake lives? Saying live NASA rover videos and shit. I know you looking at them right now. The fuck you
don't know.
talking
Go
about?
ask them. They're lying to get views, I guess.
Not factual.
I don't know.
Nah, that makes sense.
People are looking for clickbait. I love this video. This video alone proves flat Earth is wrong.
No, I do have a question. Why haven't the constellations changed?
What do you mean?
The stars in the sky. Why is it the
He's
same
just
every
going to
single
tell
night?
you that they have changed, but it happened way before, we were able to record it.
And it takes time to
And then he'll lie
change,
to
like
you and say that
millions of
Thuban
years.
was the North Star 6,000 years ago, but there's really no evidence to really prove that.
Yes,
That the
there is.
We
Egyptians
The
were
actually,
just
that's
Egyptians wrote
wrong.
proven
about it.
as the North Star.
The
You're
Egyptians
wrong
wrote
about
about
that.
it.
We have observed the stars' placements changing. We have like like a
I
thousand
know that
How
years
long
there's
does
of
it?
one star
recording
that
stars.
we can watch change, but
How long
most
does it
take
take for it?
thousands of years.
Uh, well, we actually have records, and we've seen stars move over over the course of time. That's the real thing. Like there's real data on this. Yeah, stars do move. Well,
I have to look it up
I
myself.
mean it's relative, but you know what I mean by that.
How come you believe the Egyptians with everything else but that?
Like that's astrology since like they started doing astrology. That's like a
I
thousand
could
years of
go
records.
so deep on where I think like the real original pyramids, I think they were most likely here within Northern America. But that's just a conspiracy.
They
Wait,
have
why does
pyramids
Orion
in Southern America.
I have
Did you
seen a
say
lot of people talk about it though. Yeah, that's what
did
I'm
they
saying. Yeah.
they
Well,
moved
and
the pyramids
southern
there?
of North America. Not necessarily moved them, but just acted as if those were the only pyramids, but really there are pyramids all over the world.
who doesn't think there's pyramids all over the world?
That's right. There's bigger pyramids in South America,
People
way
don't
bigger.
understand the
Why would there?
significance of pyramids all over the world, but everyone in the world knows about the Egyptian pyramids and the significance and the history, but not a lot of people know the history of
I
every
thought people knew
single,
that there was pyramids
pyramid
everywhere.
everywhere. But can you tell me the history of all of them?
Of all of the pyramids,
No,
Well, I'm asking him. He's saying like everyone knows this. Like, can you tell me the history of every single one? No, but everyone can give me a good idea or a good understanding of
No,
what
I thought
happened
people
with
knew. I
Egypt.
thought people knew that.
Yeah, I think that's like a media thing. I think
I
the
thought people knew that there more than like not know the history, but know that there's more than one pyramid in the world, bro. Like, why wouldn't there be?
I don't know.
My friend,
It
I never
definitely is.
said no. I never. Wait, I literally never said that. I never said that no one knew
Thought
about
that pyramid
any other pyramid ever.
was just like a tourist attraction because it's cool or some shit.
yeah. To answer your question, Molly, I think my belief on that, and this is totally speaking out my butt, but I think it's just the media. I think it's Hollywood. I think the idea of Egyptian pyramids had like some kind of uh, I don't know, it got like a romanticized or whatever, like the mummy or raiding these tombs in Egypt, and the ones in um, South America just weren't. That's my personal belief on that. I don't got any evidence to back it up though.
And I would agree with that.
Yo, Globy,
So,
Globy,
what's
what
up?
what conspiracies do you believe in, bro?
What
So, what
conspiracies do I
conspiracies do you
want?
believe in? Yeah, what
Mm,
do you think is actually like facts? Or not real? They're just all talking shit.
no, there's legit some strange shit going on. I don't know. Iran Contra, um,
Hmm.
the fraud of our election system. I, I don't know. I don't believe in the crazy ones. like, I don't know when you want to bring them up because I don't want to
Wait,
get to.
what about
I don't want to get the live banned. You mention certain things, shit goes down.
Right.
you? You believe in
But like
moon
the
landing?
school
Do you think
shooting
that
ones,
happened?
I don't think those are conspiracies. Ah,
Of course not. What
real
the
quick.
hell?
What about 911?
I do.
September 911.
It's definitely motivated.
I don't.
Oh,
I
that's
don't think that was a
conspiracy
conspiracy.
and
If
shit.
anything,
Yeah,
I think they were. I think they knew it was going to happen and were just complacent in it. Definitely do not think it was a controlled
no.
demolition. I don't
What
want to.
about
I don't want to
Operation
revert
Andor?
the conversation, but I just found the image I was looking for before. So just real quick, this is what David Weiss shows when he does his Taiwan to LA spiel. He goes, look at it on a globe. They
Mm-hmm.
would fly right over Hawaii, but they landed up in Hawaii. I mean, Alaska, right? This is what he shows. You guys have probably seen this picture. This is so dishonest because as I showed you, the Great Circle route, they don't fly straight across. They would fly in the circle and up towards Alaska, as I showed you before. But he purposely put a flat globe and drew a straight line to make it look like it's going over Hawaii when it's not. Okay, and this is the kind of shit he
Hey,
does all the time.
what
To
can you
to
say
be
about
clear
the
about that,
pilots?
what he's saying
What
is
can you say about the pilots who say otherwise?
what? What'd you say?
What can you say about the pilots who say otherwise? The pilots who actually like fly, what they say otherwise. They don't. They
About what?
don't. They're not flying in a curve.
How would
They're
they
not
know?
flying in a curve, bro.
How would they know?
I mean, bro, they got instruments. All that shit tells you,
It,
bro.
So
it's
relatively speaking, how big do you think you are, or even a plane is compared to the Earth?
I don't know.
So the
I don't
the,
think anybody know at this point
the
because
adjustments that you're
your guys'
talking about
your math doesn't even add up.
are so minute and
Mm-hmm. Of
happen over hours. So it's um they
course.
they themselves I don't think would even know unless they've
studied this area of science.
How can you just say that, bro? Like you're just saying that. Maybe they do know. Like how? Who are you to say they don't know?
Of
Because
course,
they're
airline
wrong about
pilots
it.
know the Earth's a globe. You're talking about some out of context video clips of pilots answering questions from people that are asking them on film, like in the cockpit, right? Like, hey guys, what do you think about flat Earth? You don't think these guys,
That's
half of those
horrible.
guys laugh when they're asked. It's ridiculous. Go watch Wolfie 6020 on YouTube. He's a commercial airline pilot, former Royal Air Force jet pilot. He'll show you the actual video from his
Bro,
cockpit
look
and
into your.
explain what's going on. He'll show you the Earth's curvature from his cockpit. He'll show you the instrumentation and how it works. Like, that's information you should be looking at, not out of context video clips cut together of some flat earthers asking pilots if the Earth is flat. Like, you don't know what the context of any of that is. Go actually learn how a heads up display works and how it shows you
What can you
horizon
say?
drop
All
with
right.
altitude.
I'm
Like, I
so
can
This
show
whole
you
thing is
horizon
okay
drop with
because
altitude,
you
right?
bring up a story. Show
It's
me, I
not a
guess.
story.
I want to see.
You're either watching a
Oh.
story someone's telling you, or you go learn how the actual equipment works. And
This is what he's saying, boys.
Did you really learn?
No, listen. What you're doing is you have a very interesting question. So, how do planes fly and how do they, adjust for the curvature, right? That's the question. But instead of going
Sure.
and finding out how that happens, what you're doing is you're looking at clips of pilots saying that they don't adjust for it. Why don't we just learn why they don't adjust for it?
That's gravity. Is that what you're gonna say?
I wasn't going to say gravity. Why would I say gravity?
Then what?
Globy, Connor, do you guys
I just
feel
hear a lot
that
of people say
do
that.
you guys feel
That's
that NASA uses harnesses?
like,
I
feel they
wouldn't
do?
have
No,
a clue.
I do not. I've never seen evidence of a harness. No.
Right there. Watch the video.
he's showing you right now, bro.
If I
Show me
The
show
other
me a
one was
harness.
much more
hold on,
clear.
hold on, wait a second. Let me
Go
narrow it
back.
down. I'm gonna
Bro,
wait for the scene.
why would they blatantly show you the harness?
Show me a harness and not a guy's shirt. You know what
What?
I
Hold
mean?
on. What about
I want to see a harness.
This is a
there?
compilation,
Why would
dude.
they
What?
Right
blatantly
there.
Watch.
show you a harness?
Back it up a little bit. Yep,
And
right
that's a
there.
harness.
Oh wow,
That's a
that's
harness.
crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nah,
What
that's
open
else is
your
fucking
it?
eyes,
crazy.
Globby.
What is it? What is it then? What is it? What is it?
It could be
A back
anything.
antenna?
Hold on. Wait.
We
There's
don't
one
know.
where he grabs it. I want to
Oh,
know what your
It could be
explanation is
anything.
for
Lord.
when they grab
Why do
it
you?
with like the wire.
Bro,
Yes, bro.
if you
Bro's in
guys could
denial.
show me someone on a harness in ISS, I'd believe you.
Okay. What if I just
You
somebody on a
just had
wire
a
then?
harness
What
on
about
and
that
you
guy?
said you
Bro,
didn't see it.
listen. Why would they blatantly show it though?
I've done
What's
many
he
videos on
grabbing?
this video. He's his pinky is inside the guy's
Oh nah,
pocket.
That's
Whatever.
crazy. That's
Dude,
crazy. Oh god, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Globby,
whatever.
I
It
hope
That's
you
couldn't
get
crazy,
paid
bro.
possibly
for
be that he
this.
grabbed his
Yo,
pocket. I
Globy,
know it
you're in
couldn't
denial,
possibly
bro.
be.
And this is
Go show it
why I
again.
act the way that I do. This is why I act so certain. This is why I act the way
An
that I do.
invisible
And I
pocket, bro.
hope you
Go
guys get
watch it
paid for
again.
what you do because it's
His
embarrassing.
pocket is right there, and the
So
guy's pinky
Hold on.
goes
No,
into
That's
it's
his
not.
pocket.
clearly a
There. What about
wire.
the? What about? Stop it. Pause the video. Pause the
Hold on.
video.
Ah,
Pause the video.
shit.
Right where you can see the black
Give me a second.
harness.
I'll get it. Give me a second.
Back. You can't back it up a little
Yeah, I
bit.
can. I'm tapping my phone.
I can pull that same video up and
I don't
sorry,
understand. Why
sorry.
do people think this is so hard to like recreate, bro? People do it in movies all the time, bro.
Hold on.
Why is this so different?
I'm gonna get it this time.
Ooh, there they are, the green harnesses. Yeah, okay. So that's a harness, right? It's
Wait.
a harness.
What's going on?
It couldn't be anything
Yes.
else. It's got
Why
to be
would
a
there
harness.
be?
Sir, yeah.
As he
Like I said,
flies
is it
through a
back
door,
What
antenna?
is it then? Please.
With
he's
Do you not
a
see
something
the
guys.
stuck
line?
to his
I see
Globey,
it.
open
It's
your
Oh
dang
my
pulling.
God!
eyes.
It's
What?
pulling
What?
him.
Stop!
It's
Stop!
pulling up on him.
Do you know what's
No, there's a
behind that
black
door?
thing. There's
Do
a
you know
black
what's
thing
behind
coming
that
off his
door?
hip. Okay, there's a black thing coming off his waist area. Okay, there's
A
no
back
string.
antenna?
Don't
What is
just
it?
point there and
What
say
is
there's a
it?
string there. There's no string. No one sees a string. But there is a black thing that's sticking off his
Obviously,
waist.
if there's a.
It's
Right.
What do you
taught.
think the string is going to be colored like? A
I,
fucking
I'm
rainbow,
just saying,
Globey?
don't tell me you see a string because nobody sees a
Oh,
I
string.
mean, my
Lord.
issue with it being just something hanging
Oh,
off is that it looks like it's
oh
pulled
my
taut.
gosh.
I can see a
I
little bit
don't know what it
better.
looks like. You guys are assuming it's something that it might
No,
not
and
be.
you're
My
assuming
point
there's
is,
not a string and this man is flying and levitating in the
You're
air when you've
assuming that
never
is exactly.
experienced that.
You're assuming
no, I'm
too.
not
You have a
assuming he's
very good
levitating.
imagination, my
You're in
He's
friend.
in
denial.
zero G.
Hold on,
I'm not assuming anything.
I want to see the pinky grab.
We should just watch an episode of Dragon
Wait,
Tales
hold on.
next.
But hold on. He
Yeah,
goes
let's see
through
the
the
pinky
door.
grab again.
Guys, hold on. He goes through the door right after that. So please tell me how a harness allows
Why did
him to
he
go
fall?
through a door.
It's a special harness.
Dear Jesus. The
Bro,
whole
why
It's
back
a
did he just
special
behind
fall?
them
harness.
is green
Wait,
He
if you're
screen,
in
flew.
zero
Globey.
gravity,
The perfect
So
evidence that
so
that's not a harness is the fact that he
stop right
floated through
here.
a door right after that.
Stop right here. Stop right here.
What
listen,
about fading
Bobby,
through doors?
So
the fact that you
yeah,
think
go back
a
to the
harness can
Superman.
only be vertical is crazy, bro.
What? First of all, you can go to
So
that.
Not all
so
harnesses are
what are
shaking
we not
straight up.
seeing here in the
Not
Superman
all
clip? What are we
harnesses
not
shake.
seeing?
Those are, most likely.
We're not
Oh,
seeing what the device is that is
It's
holding
showing
this guy
you
Hold on,
up.
I'll get it
what
back.
happens to. Why does it matter what device is holding them up? It matters that they're being held up at all, my
Because to
But,
hold
friend.
a
but
person up
And
like
that
that,
their
it
shirts are
requires.
being pulled and their clothes are being pulled the same way Superman is.
prove he's
So
being
the
held
point
up. So
is,
far, we saw something that he flew through a door. It would be impossible for him
You
to have a harness
okay,
on.
Globby?
prove he's being
Watch the
held up.
whole compilation
Prove
of
somebody in a
NASA fuck
movie
ups and
levitating
fails. The whole
without watching
like
it.
you're just cherry picking. Like there's
You
hundreds
guys
of
are cherry
videos
picking.
of
You're
them.
literally cherry picking
No,
ISS videos and going,
there
look,
are
wire
hundreds.
harnesses. This is the
I can go
definition
to
of cherry
NASA
picking,
videos
dudes.
right now,
It's the
and on that
definition
are
of
on
cherry
YouTube,
picking.
on NASA's YouTube. I can go right now and show fuck ups.
Okay, that's great. And we can pause this and we can look how their skin is actually floating up. Their faces are red and bloated.
His
How do
shirt's
you fake that
clearly
on a
being
wire
pulled by
harness?
something. I mean, do you not see that? That's clear as
You're
day.
so
hilarious.
so is the idea that
And if they're
the
having to use a lot of wait, hold on. If they're having to use a lot of upper body strength because they're not just held up and being cushion comfy. They're having to use a lot of upper body strength to,
So,
again, give to the illusion. So again, that's going to make them in pain and uncomfortable.
in pain and uncomfortable. Go compare their
no?
photos of them. Go compare the photos of the astronauts on Earth compared to what they look like in space. They're fat and bloated faces. Okay, that is the
I'm sure they
blood
would
being pulled
appreciate you
up.
saying that.
Well, I don't know. It's an actual real thing. It's there's a
They're
name. They have a
constantly
name for it.
falling. They're constantly falling. That's what it is.
Well, Don Pettit always looks the same.
So
Right.
so let me ask you
Wires
this:
can't fake that.
Constantly.
is the idea that the just like in the Superman that we have like a green screen and this is everything around these guys is CGI. Is that the idea?
It's all different.
Oh,
So they use
you
different
can
methods to fake
build.
stuff.
It's a movie set, bro. It's a movie set. Have you not? Do you not know what a movie set is?
I know what a movie set, but what I'm
You can
asking
add
is
buildings, bro. You can add.
if we're thinking that it's a
You can make a
CGI,
fake
because
rocket ship. The fuck?
if we're saying that it's a CGI, why don't we have
Yeah.
any visual effects experts looking at this? Oh, it's fake. You know, it's easy to tell with
Bro, they
like a
definitely
People
do. They
do.
definitely do. What do you mean? They do.
who
What are
And
you
then
talking
people
about?
like Globey or Profoto
You think no
Josh
one
say
have
that
ever
they
tried?
are more
who
educated than the other
The
people.
millions of people on Earth never tried.
who
People do try to debunk it.
no.
They
What
do,
I'm
and they
saying
never
is
have. If
like
they did,
Whatever.
they'd be
Yeah,
famous.
fucking.
If you debunked NASA's like it was an actual harness in
If they
space,
did,
you'd
they'd
be
be
famous.
famous, bro. Why would
There's
they be
tons of
famous if they're
videos.
exposing somebody? Do
No,
you
there's
know how
tons
many
of videos,
people?
guys.
Do you know
There's
how
tons
many
of
people
videos like you
died for
just
trying to
showed me.
expose things?
There's tons of videos like you just showed me
Where
with no
you
proof.
make up honestly stupid and embarrassing
It's
read the
embarrassing.
report. You're
No,
What's
yes.
embarrassing is that you claiming everything's a
Globy, you think
conspiracy.
You claim it's a freaking pinky holding a guy up and not a string.
Yeah,
You
people,
think that these people are
yeah. Look,
flying,
Never
and I
mind.
think that they're on strings, but I'm the crazy
oh,
one.
you're
You
never
Never
think
gonna see
that
it
mind
on
with
people
the
here.
are
string.
fucking flying,
exactly,
Globy,
PhD
but
project.
I'm the crazy one.
Yeah, look,
I'm the
you can
crazy
actually
one because
see.
I
There's
think
no
that
way. Look,
people
Globy,
can't
so you're
fly, and
saying
you think that
You
people
can see
can.
his
people don't get
pinky.
knocked off?
Okay.
Hey guys, look, you can see his pinky inside this little
People,
crease right
do
here,
people
which is
get
his
famous for
pocket.
exposing, or do they get knocked off?
And he grabs.
Can you answer this?
Look right there. You can actually see the pinky curling and grabbing the
No,
pocket.
continue the
It was
video.
it was pulled
Continue the
before he
video.
even did that. It was pulled from the
Continue
No,
string
it.
it's
and
Continue
all he
the
not.
had to
Continue
do
it.
was
video.
No,
grab
it's
it.
Continue it.
not.
Play the
Continue it.
No,
Why
video.
it's
does the
not.
other side
None
bend?
of his fingers
Why
are
does the
in
other
that
side
man's
bend?
pocket.
Why
His
does the other
pinky
side
None of
doesn't.
bend?
You
his
just saw
fingers.
the.
Why does
No.
the
You just
top
saw the
side bend?
pocket move. You saw the
Why
pocket
does the
move when
top
his
bend?
pinky grabs it
Then why does the top
When
bend?
his hand was above it.
So
because the
His
are we
hand
rest
gonna
of
was
his
say that
above
it's
fingers
the
missed.
Then
pocket.
impossible
why
that
does
his
the
pinky's
top
in
bend?
his pocket? We gonna say that.
It's
Are we gonna
impossible
say
that his
that's
pinky's in
impossible?
his pocket, but it's absolutely a
Okay, well,
wire,
let's
is
play
what
the
you guys are
other one.
going
I'm
with.
gonna pull it up on my video on my
There's the
computer
pocket.
and pause it. That way you can see the black string that this guy is
Look,
on.
Oh, for
and I
What
sure.
even
about the one
found,
that they
look,
fade
guys,
out? Like,
hey guys, I even found other video of him in the same pants with a fucking pocket right there, where his pinky would have been grabbing. Right there, look at it. There's
What
the
does that
pocket.
prove?
It proves that his pinky went in his pocket, and it's not a wire. That's what it proves.
that is
Then why,
hilarious.
Yeah,
That
bro?
you think that
definitely hilarious.
hilarious.
It's definitely a wire, guys.
It
Does he have
definitely
pockets
seems
in
like
his
a
pants?
All
I
right,
wire.
just
since
showed
Yeah.
you
you're
his pocket.
only saying that,
Comical.
since you're proving only one, can you prove all of them? Then we showed you multiple videos, not just one.
Yeah, I'm about to
Come on,
show.
prove all
Yeah,
of
I'll
them.
just
Hey,
prove why should I prove them all? So you guys can just yell nah.
hey, I use my
I
voice.
mean, you're
Cause
Has
look,
your
What
you're
about the one where the
basing
guy
one, you're
fades
doing one
out?
and saying it's wrong.
Okay, I addressed
Just
one.
because
Can you
one
want to
would
cover
be
this
wrong, that
one?
doesn't mean the
I can
whole thing
clearly
Let's
is
talk
demonstrate
about
that that was
this one.
plausible that it was his pinky in his
I
pocket.
just love how you
Okay.
say that we're the ones saying "nuh-uh" when clearly we're
bro. Fuck
showing
the
you
pinky in
evidence of
pockets.
fakery, and you're
I don't care
saying
about the pinky in pockets no
"nuh-uh."
more.
Did I just counter that evidence of fakery?
Fuck the
I
pinky in
mean, you
pockets.
have a
Watch.
you have a
You
Listen,
see
theory
this
fuck
of
the
how
pinky
it
man
in pockets,
happened.
bro.
fading
Prove
out?
something else.
No, you guys
I
are
need
making
everyone
extraordinary
to
claims that
watch.
that's a wire. So
I need
prove it.
everyone to
I can
watch.
plausibly show you that that
I
was
need
his
Bro,
pinky
everyone
in
to
his
dangerous
pocket.
watch.
claims, bro.
Where's
All
his
right, what are we
arm? Why is
watching?
this man fading out, Globy? This man fading out, and this is in the same
I
video,
want
so
you to
we're
I
gonna go
also
through a
want you
few
to
different
prove
things
the
here.
Tesla. Look,
This guy's glitching, but the
I
background
want you to
behind him
prove
is
the
still
Tesla
perfectly
launch too.
intact. Hold on.
Okay,
Watch this guy fade out, Globy. You ready? He's gonna.
I'll
You
watch
see,
him
he's
fade out.
perfectly
Yeah.
fine. We can see him.
Oh yeah, no, that's crazy.
And what are they filming him with?
That's
He's
crazy, bro.
fading. It
What the
doesn't
hell,
matter, Globy. People don't
bro?
fade out. What are you talking about?
Wait, I didn't see. It looked like he went into a corridor.
They
Can
go
Exactly.
you go
Look,
back and
glitching.
show
look,
that?
Like,
Did this guy
no, you
disappear?
can.
no,
You
look
can.
like he turned
So
into a
I'm. Do
ghost,
you
bro.
see how small my freaking thing is? Like, obviously, you guys need to pull it up on your thing if you can't see it that well. But this guy
Did these
fades
people
out.
disappear? You're talking
He
about
turned
digital.
transparent.
You're talking about digital
Hold on.
interference. You're talking about signal loss and data loss of this video
No,
stream.
Digital
I'm talking
interference.
about. No, 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 no. He was perfectly fine until he got the corner.
He was
So it
perfectly
just
fine
happened
until
at
he
Watch.
that point,
pixelated
bro.
out of the
It
screen.
just
Yeah.
happened
Do you
right
see
there.
this? Now let me find the
What?
one where he's on a freaking
That's
harness for
crazy.
you.
I didn't see anything.
Data
Okay.
moshing, bro. It happened at that exact moment. Nowhere else.
Yeah. This is how things work.
I'm trying to fix the layout so that we can see a little bit
Oh
better, but
no,
I
it's data
don't know how to
motion.
do it.
Hmm.
And it's okay, it's okay.
The data,
They just don't need to say that it's
the
not
ghost talking,
happening because
bro.
they don't want to, deny that it's happening or claim they
Okay.
can't
Well,
see
there's a
it or
plausible
whatever. Go look
explanation
up
for
the
what you're
video
showing.
yourself.
There's a plausible
So,
explanation for what you're
Sure.
showing.
There's a
so,
plausible excuse.
Let's hear your
Reframe
hmm,
your
plausible
Well, you can
statement.
call it
A
what
explanation.
you want, but
plausible
you can't
excuse.
prove that that's anything of anything. All right.
so
Show
when
me
you're
a
going to
green
make a
screen.
Hmm.
claim, you need to have
And
you
you
need
can't
to
frame
have
and but You guys keep saying that we're making the claims. Y'all are the one
You
who ever
are.
made the extraordinary claim that we live on a spinning ball flying around through space for no fucking reason at
That's
1,000
a
miles an hour.
redirect. We're
That's
not
the
talking about that.
initial claim that has still yet to be proven. But that's what we're arguing is your claim has never been proven. So
It has
prove
been
it.
proven.
Don't come to us saying that we're making the claim. You guys made the initial claim that has yet to be
They're
proven.
actually they're actually both separate and individual claims. So one's the claim that the Earth is round, and one is the claim that the Earth is flat. So if you're going to defend that the Earth is flat, then the burden of proof is on you.
No, it's like globe atheism.
There
We
are
just don't
millions
believe
of
in the
people
globe.
How?
that
What?
It's globe atheism. We just don't believe in the globe. We don't think there's strong evidence for it.
Okay, so you guys aren't flat earthers.
No, we are, but
Nope.
that's just the flat is just the descriptor.
Okay, so
it's just what it obviously is.
Damn, what?
Like
no,
if you look
you
around,
have a whole
so if
no, you have a whole model. You can't
so hold on
you
before.
can't weasel your way
Well,
out
I'm
of
not
that.
going to weasel out of
You have a
anything.
whole model.
Let me explain exactly what the heck it is that I'm talking about. So, if we agree that the curvature or supposed curvature of the Earth is not something that's obviously observable, that it's something that you have to actually extrapolate out. So, what that means is that the Earth is obviously flat until you apply these mathematics or until you get so far away that you can actually start see the curvature. Because it is obviously flat, that's why we call it flat Earth. It's just a descriptive property. We have not experienced this curvature that you all go on about.
So in logic, when you say therefore it is, that is the claim. So if I don't make a claim, I don't say the
No,
Earth
no,
is round. I don't say the Earth is
well,
flat.
here's the
I don't say
problem.
the Earth is a basketball.
We aren't the ones that have put forward a whole program and that get $65 million a day to do this program. That's the one with the claim. We are challenging the existing claim that Earth is a ball.
All right, here's
Okay,
a peer
so
reviewed.
Exactly.
that we pay
Here's, a,
for. And
here's
we
evidence.
pay for this, Globy. Don't
Here's
forget
a
that.
peer reviewed published paper published in Nature Photonics, done by Caltech University, published by Caltech University, measuring Earth's rotation using a micro laser ring gyroscope. Okay, here's the authors. Okay, here's the publication references. Okay, so you guys can all read all this information if you like, and then tell us how this is a lie.
The
Okay,
drift isn't a lie. Asserting that the drift is definitely
How
Earth
can I find it? I
curvature
apologize.
might be a
well,
lie.
it might be a lie. So what else? What else is rotating?
Yeah,
The
you're just
laser ring
making
gyroscope is
assumptions.
on Earth.
So what you're experiencing is a 15-degree displacement of the gyroscope. So that's all you're experiencing.
Mhm.
And so you're claiming that
Yeah,
that is the Earth rotation, but it could just be the gyroscope itself. Things tend to
the,
precess
gyro-
that rotate.
a gyroscope sitting still on a stationary Earth would not precess.
So a gyroscope doesn't rotate at all as part of its function? Or am I just mistaken on how a ring laser gyroscope works?
Well, it's not a physical. Well, you're thinking of a physical gyroscope that's spinning,
Exactly.
but
Anything
even that spinning isn't
could precise.
precessing unless you're moving. So you have to be moving for it to precess. So either way, you have to be moving. But the laser ring gyroscopes
Can you
are actually
explain?
measuring. They're measuring themselves moving, 15 degrees per hour.
What do you mean by measuring themselves? Like
What about the
this is
Michelson
a
Morley?
They're measuring the displacement as the Earth
so it's just a
is
laser.
moving.
Is it just
Something's moving.
it's
Yeah,
just a laser going back
it's
and forth?
lasers. They're lasers bouncing off a series of mirrors inside
Oh,
this
it's a
device.
mini Michelson Morley experiment.
Does it have anything to do
I
with the
guess
sun?
maybe there's nothing
I'm
to do with
looking
the
into
sun
it
now.
now. Does it have anything to do with the sun?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know the famous flat earther proved there. He did the same thing on that documentary, but this is other people doing it, independently.
Sure. I want to look more into that because I think that they discovered that with different elevations, and I haven't verified it, so I don't know if it's true, but apparently different elevations affect the amount of drift. So I'd like to see how accurate that
Yeah,
is.
you're not going to find any information on that. Bob Nodell claimed that was happening, but he never published any information or video or records of that happening. He did say it once on a podcast,
Maybe so.
which is odd because he has a whole YouTube channel. You would think it would be very easy just to put it up there on his YouTube channel, but he never published that.
So, what about, and this is on the Wikipedia for this under principle of operation. It says a certain rate of I apologize. It says RLGs, while more accurate than mechanical gyroscopes, suffer from an effect known as lock-in at very slow rotation rates when the ring laser is hardly rotating, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't consistently always rotate at 15
So,
degrees.
but there's never a point where it'll rotate more. It's always going to be less.
What's that speed it's telling you there, Molly?
I'm
Where
actually
you,
looking. It says
you're
I'm
assuming
just
that
on the
15
ring
degrees
laser
is slow.
gyroscope Wikipedia.
You're
That's
assuming
pretty
that
slow, yeah.
15 degrees per hour is too slow for the laser ring gyroscope to read.
Even if that is granted, there is no situation where a gyroscope will rotate more than it should because of lock-in. It would be less.
Again, so you're saying that this device proves that the Earth is rotating and not necessarily that it's curving.
Not yeah, it has nothing to do with the curve, other than it is
Okay,
curved
so
to
what
rotate.
we do claim that we call it the ether above us is
That
moving.
would be rotating around us. That would be moving around us. If there's such a
Ether
thing,
drift.
that's never been proven and it's failed every time. But if
Actually,
there,
it didn't
if that
prove.
was moving,
Globy, you're actually a little
Wait,
mistaken on that. There was another
I
experiment
think I am.
conducted. I believe you are. Michelson Morley was not the end of that experiment, if you will. Michelson Gale attempted it afterwards using much more sensitive equipment, and they quote calculated for what they said was, well, I can't say it's what they said. What the online article said was the, trying to think of the exact words used. It was something to do with the making up for the Einsteinian relativity. They're putting it in for the arm retraction, length retraction, and they allowed for up to 230 out of 1,000. I don't know what units they were using because I don't have the experiment right in front of me, but you can go look it up yourself. The Michelson-Gale experiment's not it's not common knowledge, but it's not hidden, and you'll see that they actually did detect 236 out of 1,000 parts of drift, which they claimed, which seemed to be enough of a drift to indicate something was moving, but not enough of a drift to indicate that it was the Earth that was moving. And Einstein's theory of relativity only worked, in
So,
his own admission, if it was a null result, which when they upped the sensitivity, it was no longer a null result.
so it was a failure to detect the ether.
Right, the first time they failed to detect
It
it.
detected motion. It detected motion, but you're assuming that was ether without that conclusion, because Michelson Gale, to conclude that motion was the ether, it would have to directly contradict the Michelson Morley conclusion,
No, so the
right?
reason,
And as I understand, well, look, anyway, look. The point is, if the ether was moving, right, how would that affect a gyroscope affixed to the Earth? Okay, those experiments were
You
optical,
guys,
measuring light. They were measuring light coming into telescopes
and
and bouncing light
technically a
around.
pendulum is attached to the Earth.
What?
the answer,
Like
What do
like,
you say?
you guys say, how would this affect this? But your other proofs are also, not really proofs at all.
I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
that's why we're
What
asking
other proof?
questions. We told you we would look more into the ring laser gyroscope. We told you we'd look more
Right.
into that. Okay.
okay,
And you're saying that
move
you're
on.
making this claim that why would this affect this in this way if it were doing this when what you just explained, your other proofs, if you will, the pendulum, does that
I
as
didn't
well.
bring up.
It's fixed
I
to
mean, I
the
didn't
Earth.
bring up the pendulum, but that is affixed
I
to the
did.
Earth as
I
well.
did.
Yeah. It is affixed to the Earth, but that is free to move, free to rotate about its axis. But that's a different story. I mean, I would, you know, I tend to believe the laser ring gyroscopes more than a pendulum. There's less room for error. But the point is that pendulum is on the, I mean, the or gyroscope is on the Earth. So any motion it detects is from the motion of Earth, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
The
I'm
the,
gonna
Michel,
look into.
the Michelson Gale, the Michelson Morley, those are all like measuring light entering the Earth, right, and collecting the light, and then
Mhm.
seeing if there's any effects on those light, the light based on the movement of Earth or movement of something, which could be attributed to ether if that was affecting the speed of light, at different times. But a gyroscope is affixed to the Earth. How could that be something other than the movement of Earth?
Gyroscopes, if you're talking about a mechanical one, if you can actually look into the information on them, and from what I've seen, there is a lot of errors that can happen with them. In that you do have to make sure that they're spinning at the exact right speed, otherwise you're going to have some issues. And even then, because they're mechanical in nature, they tend to be error prone. Like they can slow down. You can spin them too fast. And they actually found out that you can affect on a mechanical gyroscope, that you can affect the precession by adjusting the speed. But as far as the
Yep.
ring laser gyroscope, I don't know enough about that. But if it's like I think it is, where it's measuring the displacement between the light bouncing back and forth, I mean, I would think that that would have everything to do with the ether. But I digress. I don't know that that's how it works or not.
But it wouldn't be 15 degrees would be a massive amount. You understand? That wouldn't be just a small
It's just what the sky moves.
calculation.
The 15 degrees that we have derived is because that's what we've seen the sky move. So, I mean, it would be the same as what we see, because the aether is responsible in some of the models. The aether may be responsible for the way the luminaries move. So it's just something to think about there.
So where
Yeah,
did this aether theory come from?
What's that?
So where did the aether theory where's it come from?
Um, I don't remember right off the top of my head. It's old though. It was like in all the 1800s and
I will
1900s
bring it up for
physics.
you.
Yeah,
So
please.
is there an experiment that was done that can show like some type of
I
objective
believe there
truth?
was
Nikola
several.
Tesla explains the ether. Yeah, Tesla, what he used the idea of the ether a lot.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it, so.
All right. Well, there was Aries' failure, which was just that, the failure to detect anything to do with ether moving. Michelson Morley also was trying to detect if the ether existed, and that was a failure as well. And then the Michelson Gale, I don't think that had anything actually to do directly with the ether, but it was to measure the effects of like Earth's rotation on the speed of light. And they did detect motion of Earth, but flat earthers say the motion they detected was the ether, right? So that's the argument there.
Well, the reason
But
why
there's no way to.
it's important to make this distinction, because the reason why we make that argument is because prior to the Michelson-Morley experiment, there was no theory of relativity. Einstein admitted that the Michelson-Morley null result was the first thing that led him to develop that theory. It was necessitated, and
Right.
you can even look at the notes of the people in the Michelson-Morley who were studying that at the time. I can't remember which one quoted it, but they said that it was the result was astounding, and that there was only one other explanation, and that was that the Earth was at rest. But that was, sorry, I should have said this better. That was right before he said that. He said, if we acknowledge the null result as a fact. So with that being said, when they detected this motion later on, after they had already developed relativity and all this other stuff to try to explain why they hadn't, um, then they did detect a little bit of motion. And when that happened, it's not like they went back and was like, oh, well, it looks like we were wrong, and we did detect a little bit of motion, so now we have to work that in. Instead, they, well, you know the rest of the story. I believe we have the physics that we have now for a reason. But there you have it. So they did detect. They didn't detect motion before. They did later, but they did not decide to. They did not decide to take away the Earth moving because they really do want to keep that presupposition. I mean, there's plenty of quotes that said. I mean, that show that they had a clear bias towards that.
Okay. I mean, I understand that the whole, again, that comes down to conspiracy a little bit, though, right? I mean, the whole purpose of the Michelson-Gale experiment was,
I mean, it's not.
it's literally called the
This is the
it's
part,
literally called
Globy.
the effect of the Earth's rotation on the velocity of light,
I would say
right?
that this is
So
the
you
part
have
that's
to,
not conspiracy because it's just the notes of the actual people who did the experiment, and then now we're getting into the interpretation. And the interpretations were, of course, they had their biases in that. But I mean, if their even notes even admit that the other explanation was that the Earth was at rest.
not sure about that. I'd have to look at those notes. But yeah, look, I would suggest you go look at the laser ring gyroscope experiments because that was certainly a technology that didn't exist back then, an instrument of measurement that did not exist.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and end the live here in about 4 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and run up the line. Everybody get your last piece in. And everybody, thank you for tuning in and participating in the conversation. Whichever side you are, we do welcome you. So I'll go ahead and start at the bottom. Molly?
Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate you always. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for
I
coming
don't
on.
have anything else to say. I may start one up later if anyone else wants to chat about some, globular models and such, but have a good night.
Absolutely. Very entertaining lives from that group for sure. Connor?
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on. It's been a good experience. For everyone in chat who's a flat earther, and some of you guys that are in the chat, I'd encourage you to look more into the way that the stars move. I think still even the explanation that I got from Molly is a little bit strange. And also something that I didn't bring up is on a flat Earth you'd be able to see more than one side of a moon. On a globe you'd be able to see one. So if I call my friend in California, um, and I told them to look at the moon, it would be the same face. On a flat Earth, the Californian person should be able to see a little bit of a different part of the moon. This is all simple stuff; doesn't require any math. That you could totally do yourself. That I think is good questions to the to the flat Earth model. Thanks. See ya.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. I use my voice.
I don't have really much to say. Just say thank you for having me on. And yeah, see
Awesome.
y'all later, man.
For sure. See you later. Thanks for coming on. And Globy, finally.
Oh, what's there to say? I guess I would say, you said it earlier, and I hear it all the time. Like, people think I just come up with answers, but there's a reason there's answers for things. And instead of dismissing them, and I'm not saying you do, I mean, generally speaking, instead of dismissing the answers, maybe go look into them. Right? This goes to all flat earthers, everybody on the fence. Look into the answers being provided to you. Do not just nut them, and you might see there's some actual truth to these answers. Okay, there's things we all don't understand. I don't pretend to be an expert in anything I don't understand. A matter of fact, I love talking to people about things I don't understand because I love taking the back seat and trying to learn. So, you got to understand there's things you don't understand in the world and learn as much as you can from other people. Don't just call it indoctrination. All right. Learn from people who know more than you. That's it. Earth's a globe. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks
All
for
right.
coming on, Globy. I
Thanks for
appreciate you.
having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Great guests as always. Everybody who participated. I know I always catch a little bit of heat from the flat earthers because I do try to keep it very, very civil and cordial. And that's just fine. Everybody run your show the way that you want to run it. I like to try to reach across the aisle as much as possible and get everybody in here and people that, from either side. You may not respect somebody, but that doesn't mean the other side doesn't. So, anyways, everybody, thanks for coming out. We had some great conversations. Don't forget to support the show. Go on and get your bag of True Smacks. Support the Cash App. We're still trying to go out and raise some money for some experiments. Hit up the podcast. I have to go ahead and post. I had recommended it, but Caleb and Dare got their podcast up and going. To go ahead and subscribe over there and help them out. Get some stuff going. We got to pull together as a community. And believe it or not, I actually do not disagree with everything that Globy McGlobeface just said there in the end. I do 100% agree that you should look into everything. You should look into every answer given to you and scrutinize everything. And if you do that, I believe that you will realize that Earth is in fact flat, stationary, and that you are at the center of all creation. So welcome, center stage. Until next time, peace.